Hey, this episode of the Heroes Blade Vibe Check radio show has been brought to you by this Bracket 3 room on MTGO. No stacks, mass land destruction, you know what not to bring, etc. I think I got the message.
Warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
Steph, it's time to take you to court.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned evidence, so I am interested to know.
You are entering the courtroom of Judge Empress Quinn. SteelCitySteph, you stand accused in front of the illustrious Judge Empress Quinn for saying, and I quote,
Oh no. Quinn's not in chat to remind me no greedy keeps for 2026, so So really it's just fair fault if I make bad decisions here, right?
how do you plead?
I plead guilty, but I won, so I feel like I should have a minimum sentence, right?
Judge Quinn?
Oh, man, Steph, imagine my fucking, so I finish up playing some games, I go and decide to tune in to the Twitch stream with my dear friends, Steel City MTG, where they're playing Limited, and I get to this, later on in the stream, we get to this game, and the betrayal.
I'm sorry. But really, it worked out, though. It worked out. It did.
It did work out, and heaven smiles only on results, so, I don't know about that, but I am going to have to, for the purposes of the brand and the bit and the paperwork, bang my gavel of justice here and say that you are guilty and sentenced with never reaching Commander Valhalla.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to live with that. I don't know how, but I'll figure out a way to move forward.
Good, I believe in you.
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
Okay. We can thank the witness Indominus Lux for that one.
No, Light ratted me out.
Light immediately went to the group chat, typed in that phrase verbatim, and I was like, for real? Are you serious? We got eyes and ears everywhere, all right?
I mean, it seems that way.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's introduce you proper, Steph. Hi, welcome to the Heroes Play Vibe Check radio show.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
SteelCitySteph, you and Brad are a pair of I say a pair of streamers, but like you among many couples who play Magic the Gathering and stream yourselves on the internet. But not only do you just play Commander, you and Brad also have the tendency to open sealed product and facing each other in duels to the death.
Yeah. We do that. We do that. Yes. We like playing games with booster packs. Got kind of frustrated when we saw a bunch of people opening Mystery Booster 2 and not playing games with it when it is like among the coolest limited formats you can possibly play. And so we decided we would stream about it to show people that playing games with booster packs is fun. And we just haven't stopped. So, yeah.
And you don't need to stop.
As it turns out, that is incredibly inspirational and influential. I have been playing more Limited as a result of watching you all have fun with Limited and learning to have fun with it myself. And through that, I guess, developing a greater joy of different areas of Magic.
I love that for you. Yeah, we have definitely experienced that too, because we played a lot of Limited before we started streaming. But not nearly as much as what we're doing now, because what we're doing now is ridiculous. But
it's
but we
obscene.
didn't play.
It's crazy.
But we didn't play nearly as much before. And but yeah, now different kinds of events are exciting to us. We are evaluating cards a little bit differently when we see spoilers for things. We're excited about different things. Yeah, it's not all about just what does this set give me for my commander decks anymore. And I think that means that I can appreciate Magic in a more broad sense. And I think that that's good.
Yeah.
As it turns out, Magic is a huge game. There's a lot of different areas of it to enjoy.
Yeah.
I admit I am a terrible limited player, so my opinion of it has always been pretty mixed. I get to go to like a sweet ass pre-release and like I do better than like I go 3-2. I'm like, okay, this set is sick. But then if I go like 1-4 or 2-3, I'm like, nah, this set sucks. I don't know. I guess I'm stuck at this again. But that being said, I actually have been invited to come out to do draft with a friend of mine, and so I'm going to be looking into doing that in the future. Just because most of the people that I do play Magic with tend to be Commander players, and any deviation from Commander is usually met with like, they're like, oh, I would like to do that, but I thought when we were meeting up today it was going to be playing Commander, and then we're like, yeah, okay. Fair enough.
You gotta set the expectation beforehand.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We can change it up. But yeah. So you two do streaming on Twitch, and you have a crazy social media presence over on Bluesky, and you two also managed to raise $750 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, I think from last weekend's stream or the
it was Tuesday of last week. Yeah, it was just little 2-hour Commander stream, but turns out it worked out pretty well. So yeah, $250 out of 2 hours, pretty quick, pretty good job, everyone. So hey, that's pretty exciting stuff. Yeah.
And now, Steph, this is the part where we completely derail everything about introducing you and everything about Magic, and we're going to talk about our other hobbies for a second.
I love that. Please do.
Okay. Let me hit you with the question first, Steph. What is your favorite thing to do? What are your current hobbies besides Magic the Gathering?
Well, I am about 7 different flavors of tabletop gaming nerd, so pick your flavor, but I really, really, really love playing tabletop RPGs. I've had the same group for about the last 8 years or so.
Impressive,
I am the dungeon master, so I am in charge of things, and I really, it's been the same group for the whole time. We've played through several different campaigns together. I have a group full of tabletop RPG unicorns. They show up on time every week. We schedule whenever we reschedule well. Whenever somebody has a scheduling conflict, we plan in advance. People share the burden of bringing snacks. Like the whole thing, any of the like quintessential problems that people have with their tabletop RPG groups, I have none of them.
This is literally an alien planet. I have never heard about this before in my life.
It really is crazy, and I'm often scared to talk about it too much for fear that people either think that I'm lying or will steal my group. So but it really is. It's a great situation. So.
Can you describe the current campaign? What you're putting your players through right now?
We just finished one, actually. So we finished a campaign that took us about 2 years to get through. We play Pathfinder, so don't tell Wizards of the Coast.
Are we playing first or second edition?
So we're playing first edition because I'm in a group of a bunch of people who are lore nuts. They absolutely love the Pathfinder world, Pathfinder lore. And before we switch over into second edition, they wanted to play the last 2 adventure paths they released for 1E. And so we did the second to last one and just finished that up. And then we're going to be doing the very last one coming up here soon. But right now.
This is literally Mars behavior. How does this happen? I've been in a few different campaigns between like Pathfinder and 5th edition, and not many other deviations from that. It's usually some flavors, Dungeons and Dragons, or nothing at all. And the unfortunate part is that like people move away, people get back into the swing of things at work. They had to become parents or are parents, and so it's just that every conceivable thing that I've been part of has just kind of either quickly fallen apart, or even after, like, I think for my Pathfinder group, which is also my one of my Magic groups, we started off pretty good, and everything was going strong. And then one of my friends is like, I'm going to be moving to England. And we're like, whoa, okay, cool. Then we'll just we'll phone it in. And then our other friend's like, I'm moving to the island. And we're like, okay, oh, you got it. All right. And then it was hard to schedule things when we're like, oh, we'll do it over like Roll20 or something. And then one of our friends, like, his internet is terrible, and our other friend is in like a completely different time zone. and scheduling just became impossible. So
That is rough. Yeah,
we were playing a Mythic campaign, and it was so sick.
No.
And we were doing so cool, like such cool stuff, and then it just kind of went nowhere. So
That's
we're
a
kind of
bummer.
stuck in limbo.
Yeah, our setup was, so we started before the pandemic happened, but then had to figure out a way to keep playing through it. And so we did the Roll20 thing. And so all of my players got used to creating macros and, making their character sheets fully updated so you can click a button and cast a spell. And the whole thing was really neat. They got really into it. And then when we got back to playing in person, they were like, there are some things about that was really nice because, when we had to, it would,
Well, it was all
when we had to
automated. Some of it was
reschedule or
automated.
whatever. It was automated, but then when we had to reschedule, we could do that pretty easily, and we didn't have to or if somebody couldn't make it, then we could. I don't know. There was it made us be able to schedule more easily because we could do some of those things remotely, and so we ended up developing a hybrid setup, which so now we play on living room couches, and everybody has their own dice trays and stuff. So that we're still physically rolling dice. We're just not moving minis around a physical map. I'm not drawing a map on a table. And they have physical character sheets with them. They're still writing stuff down, but we put the game from Roll20 up on the television. And then we just have the player, somebody have a wireless mouse and keyboard that moves their characters around. And so we keep track of hit points and stuff on there. We keep track of if somebody can't make it in person for a week, they just tune in remotely. We just Discord them in, and it works great. So we don't have to fully cancel a session if somebody can't physically be there in person.
Right. Yeah.
And also it's cozier because we can just snuggle on a couch and still, I don't know, it's nice. I like it a lot. So we have a great setup.
That rules.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet. I'm not jealous in any way whatsoever. It's tough out there where we got all of these ways to do it, and I'm saying this is just probably maybe I'm currently expected to play a Magic the Gathering themed 5th edition one shot that's going to be coming up this Saturday at the time of this recording. And I'm a bit of admittedly mixed feeling about it, and I do got to talk with the group and the DM about it because I'm something already happened in the first session, as part of the setup for the whole thing that was not what anyone expected, kind of came out of left field, and I'm yeah, we really gotta be everyone's engagement levels are also completely different because it's some people are playing Magic with me and Lenny, Johnny's Gay Pride Mate, and then there's other people who have played Magic but are not tapped into the lore in any way, so they're just yeah, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, whatsoever. We're okay, maybe we kind of need to, break the ice a little bit differently in how we're going about this.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I haven't done any of the Magic property or the Magic IP D&D stuff. I've read through it, and it seems especially the Ravnica stuff seems really well built and really well done. I haven't seen, I guess there's a Lorwyn one that either is coming out or has come out.
I think it's I think it's at least I know it's been reviewed. People have mentioned seeing some stuff about it. I don't know. It's tricky. There's a lot of resources, and there's a lot of ways to go homebrew, and there's a lot of ways to just use the Strixhaven book or use some the lore material from, I know they did Theros, and I know there's some Innistrad stuff too, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of ways to go about it outside of just being flavor wise, whatever, but I'm just going to be playing a paladin or whatever, some pretty simple ways. But other than that, it's so much customizability, but it's really just a matter of making sure everyone's on the same page. With the same expectations, and can everyone show up, yes or no, and not and can we do once a month, ? It's tricky.
It can be. I wish I was better at homebrewing things because I think I would be able to take those source books and be able to do something really neat with it because I do love Magic. I do love Magic lore, and I think I have a fair enough number of friends that would be interested in doing something like that. But I find that I'm not a good home brewer. Either that or maybe I just don't want to put my energy toward homebrewing things. I really love Pathfinder. It is, and it's a lot of creative energy that I choose to spend in other places, right? And so I really love Pathfinder because the books are really, well, generally, especially the later books, are very well written. And the stories are really well fleshed out. The universe is already really well fleshed out. It's a great universe. And so like my responsibility as the GM becomes telling a good story or telling the story faithfully. And rather than like inventing something that is good and fun for my players. And I think I'm better at committing to the former rather than the latter there.
Yeah, it's as someone who has only vaguely dabbled, and I mean like bare bones dabbled in GMing in any capacity. One, it's not for me. I am not built for that shit. I just don't have the tolerance for it whatsoever. I'm like, I have a lot of, as usual, I'm more of like the ideas guy where I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to do. But when you sit down and like actually try to like mechanically get everything laid out and like attempt to plan for things, and I'm like, you know what? I already do like so much for like this podcast, and I already do so much for like Magic the Gathering. Like the only thing I'm really good at controlling is something that I can make and put together myself within the context of me being a player of something. But the minute that you branch outside of that level of control, it's like, no, I'm good to skip on that. I remember I tried doing this one shot for a friend's birthday. I can't remember if it was for his 30th, but it was just like, hey, you know what? Let's do something for your birthday. Are you going to go out and do a bunch of drinking or something? He's like, no. We're like, cool. We're going to go get together and play 5th edition with everyone. And we're like, oh, cool. So we got together and we got food and everything. And everyone got to play all these cool customized characters. Like he got to play a vampire. I think he got to play a vampire paladin or something. Oh, wait, it wasn't Pathfinder. It was 5th edition D&D. Everyone got to play all these cool characters. And then I unintentionally realized I completely over committed to the bit and nearly killed everyone. And I'm just like, oh, this is supposed to be cool, but everything's like immediately going wrong. And I'm like, one of the guys was like, oh, I'm going to play a flying character. I'm like, you get sniped out of the sky and you take like severe fall damage and all this other like crazy no good stuff. So everyone's like, wow, that kind of fucking sucked, dude. And I'm like,
accidentally went too hard.
Shit. Oh, dang. Okay, I've learned my lesson. So I am expected to try and do something for a handful of friends, like only 2 people. I'm going to take a look at a module, like a very beginner level 1 module, and try to get everyone like up to speed where one person's a pro and the other person has no idea what they're doing, and kind of go from there and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. It sounds fun. I mean, I like those modules. They're fun. Yeah.
Easy. Pick them up, read them over, see what happens. Quinn, it's Final Fantasy time.
Yeah. So I've been playing Final Fantasy as per usual. I finished Final Fantasy V like we talked about, posted exactly like we talked about. And
yep, called you out immediately.
Yeah, that's what we post for, so that we can be called out by our friends and then fucking continue the bit there. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're up to there.
All right, so Final Fantasy 13, the one where Final Hallway 13, as it is called.
It gets a lot of flack for being that, but Final Fantasy X is also structured the same way, and that does not get any flack, so I don't know what people are on about, and I think they need to show a little more respect.
But thoughts on it so far?
It's mechanically pretty cool, and summons look very good and are like treated with the appropriate level of reverence. So we'll that's important for my enjoyment of the Final Fantasy game, and this one does that all right. So I'm in.
Sick, awesome. How is female Cloud playing out for you as a character?
God, they really did Cloud, but girl.
Yeah, they did. They're like,
it
hey,
is better though now that she's girl is the thing.
They're like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, you like that, right? We're like, yeah, sure. How about we make a character vaguely named after like aerial, like sky phenomena, but make it girl? And you're like, yeah, she's cool, sick, thanks.
Perfect. Yeah, sign me up. I'm exactly the target audience for that. Thank you.
And what are you planning to do in the near future here? What is going on with this?
The fucking French JRPG, Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I want to play that. A lot of people would like to watch me play that, so maybe we figure out the setup to stream that so we can hashtag Parry or Perish stream, a title I've ripped directly from Baldhound.
That is actually hilarious. Okay. I'm interested in seeing how that turns out. I still need to get back to playing that game. I've been neglecting it for playing handheld games. Hey, did you know
of handheld games? Did you fucking start Final Fantasy V yet?
Okay, so I got a whole long thing here. The long and short of it is I got a handheld retro gaming thing. Hey, did you know you could put in like PS1 and GBA games on a handheld device and just play them on the go? It's pretty sweet. I started playing Final Fantasy V and maybe got into the first dungeon, and then I accidentally wiped the SD card as part of it, and deleted all my progress, so I need to restart it.
Fucking yikes.
Yeah, it was not great. I had a few games going on there, and then I accidentally like right-clicked and was hoping to eject the SD card from my computer, and then I think I accidentally hovered over format, and it just like auto-formatted it or something. That's my best guess as to what happened with it. So I just had to redo everything from scratch and be like, okay, I guess I didn't get that far in Final Fantasy V, but at least it kind of seemed like a pretty cool setup to the start of that. Like, who's this random pirate character, and what's this necklace about, and what's going on at the Temple of Wind, or at the Wind Crystal, excuse me, like the Magic the Gathering card, the Wind Crystal. And yeah, got to see how that works out. But I've been kind of here's how the last little bit of the last couple of weeks has been. It's like, okay, I should de-sleeve more of my commander decks. Did that, and then the rest of the time I'm like just playing on my handheld. Like, it's just been so fun going back and playing old games that I have played before, and I'm kind of re-experiencing it, or I'm going back and playing games I never had the opportunity to play before, and hopefully seeing what people had so much like hype about. So that's what I'm up to gaming wise.
So when you say de-sleeve your commander decks, are you saying just like you're taking them apart and you're not playing them anymore, or are you just going to play them unsleeved like a lawless hooligan?
No, God, no. Okay, I'm not that crazy. I'm not that insane.
Okay, I need that was a sanity check, Cole. I just needed to make sure.
I know. You know what? You're in good company. You're totally right to ask that question, because we do know some crazy people out there, Quinn, who plays with decks without sleeves.
Sleeveless deck?
No, I would like to preserve the integrity of a piece of cardboard for as long as possible.
Cards only have value if you sell them. Are you going to sell those?
Some of them, yeah, I have. What are we talking about?
All right, you know what? My bad. I'll back off. Go ahead and double sleep it with my guy.
Can't sell a black and white copy of a proxy of a card, Quinn. You can't sell that. But
please relax. You know I print in color.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Sorry. Jeez. Go to Staples here. Pay $50.
You're talking to Quinn, or not Quinn? Oh my gosh, Cole. Yes. Goodness gracious.
No, I had as part of our last episode, we were talking about our New Year's Magic Resis for 2026. Jesus, I nearly forgot what year it was. And I had failed my previous year by being like, deck count only go down, and then the deck count immediately went back up to where I had started like the year beforehand. It was like I went from 50 whatever decks, and okay, Steph, you've been on the internet long enough. There's people who have over 100. What are we talking about here?
I know, but that's still impressive. Continue.
You open a sealed box every other week, and I know you turn it over on Manipool. Hey, by the way, go check out enter Steel City ?
There's
over
not
on
a code.
Manipool.
There's not a code, but if you look at my socials, you'll find a coupon for $5 for you if you make a new account. But yeah, anyway.
So I'm trying to like steal your thing, and I'm like, I can't even do that right. The point. So I was at too many decks. We already knew this. 50 commander decks is a lot to do. It's a lot. The goal of 2025 was to get down, and at the beginning of the year, I had went from 50 to about 34. I managed to take apart that many.
Okay.
Immediately flipped right back up. We hit Tarkir Dragonstorm, basically went up 4 decks almost right there. Final Fantasy hit. I probably made 5 decks from that, and was like, well, now we're back in dangerous territory. And then Yeah, the rest of the year, the less said, the better. But the long and short of it is, I am now currently at 29 decks. So I've taken apart a lot. I've taken apart as far as I think I went over 40, and then now I'm below 30. So that's where we're at right now. And the hope is to somehow find ways to drop even further or maintain below 30. And so for the time being, the cards are currently in a box, unorganized, and whatever seemed cool to reallocate to the other 29 decks was done. And one deck was put together anyway, so we're still at 29, but I opened my pre-release kit of Lorwyn, and opened the Flip Ashling. I was like, yeah, I guess I could probably try to slam this together, so I did, and we can vaguely talk about that later. So terrible transition time. Let's talk about vibe checks. So, Steph, do you understand this part of the section here?
I do. I've listened to the podcast before.
Oh, okay, all right. This. You know, some people come in, they're like, I've never listened to in a single episode. It'd be like, great, come on anyway.
Yeah, they hop on the mic like, what's a podcast?
They're like, wait, you guys are recording for 3 hours? That's crazy. Anyway,
I did my homework.
Oh, thank you. Greatly appreciated. So, let's talk about some legends from Lorwyn Eclipse, I think, and let's go through some vibe checks if they like holding the Hero's Blade. Quinn, what do you got for us this week?
In the notes here, I have Tristan Green Mana / Tristan Black Mana, because I didn't care enough to look his name up at the time. And frankly, it's still barely care enough. It's Callous Cultivator, though, and Penitent Color on the back half. Passes the vibe check. Dude's got Death Touch, so he already sucks to block because he's got Death Touch and has an Enter the Battlefield ability. So, like, if they block and kill it, sick, you rebuy that ETB. Otherwise, you take one of their creatures of value. And if you just turn the heat up by giving that guy the Hero's Blade, then it's continuing to apply that pressure and make people sweat even more.
Okay. I really can't argue with that. Honestly, I've listened to the legendary creature review for the legends for the set, and someone's like, hi, I'm Tristan, and I'm reviewing Tristan Callous Cultivator, and that was as far as I got from that whole review, because all I heard was black, green, and elf, and I immediately clocked out of that entire review. I didn't even know it had Death Touch, but this guy, yeah, he holds a blade. He goes to 7/6. No,
yeah, I usually don't
6/6,
read cards that say elf on them, if I'm being honest. But this one I ended up drafting because it was pretty and borderless in the pack, and I'm a magpie.
Yeah.
Mid.
Steph, what do you got for a vibe check?
From the new set.
Well, or just in general.
From the new set, or any one of your commanders that you think passes the vibe check?
You know what? Let's see here. Yeah, I think Bassandra Battle Seraph.
Ah, hey.
Turns it into an Elder Dragon, and I'm down with that. We want 3 hits and they're dead. So yeah, I like that.
It is really hard to argue with a classic that really just says, hey, when we enter combat, you're not doing anything.
I absolutely adore that line of text. Just like, this combat is happening, all right? So if you got anything to say before that, you better fucking make it known.
And it's like combat in general too. So it like gets my opponents on their turns too when other people are trying to disrupt them, or it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
I like this card a lot. I should play that more, actually.
It's a great card. So the only art that's available is Womp Womp, and that makes me sad. But
and it makes
it's a great card. It's a great card. Just scribble over it or something. I don't know. Just do. But it's a great card.
Get
really
one
like
of our lovely community people to paint over one for you and send it to you and pay them money.
Exactly.
I've had the thought, it's just like, we're reaching this point where it's like, okay, you could easily reprint her and get some sick new artwork on her and it'd be no big deal. And who knows, we could probably get extended crazy border. I don't know. Just give me a new Bassandra and I might want to be tempted to play it. I haven't played one in Commander in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, get Livia Prima to paint a new Cassandra and put that in a Commander precon. That's my request.
Okay, there you go.
The Secret Lair Olivia.
Which Olivia?
I am trying to remember her subtitle. It's the all red black.
Is it Voldarin?
Maybe
Olivia, opulent
it's
outlaw,
mobilized
mobilized for
Was it from?
war,
Was it the
Crimson
Innistrad
Bride?
remaster one? Like, who are we talking about here? What's the artist name
Olivia
again?
mobilized for war.
Yeah,
Oh,
there she is. That's
okay.
Shadows.
So get her artist to do a Cassandra. I think she would handle that incredibly.
Eric Deschamps.
Oh, sorry, I meant the Secret Lair printing.
The Secret Lair printing.
Oh, that one is so good.
Where
Yeah,
she looks absolutely stunning in that version.
Yeah, I think Olivia Prima would handle that great.
You really do look at her catalog of artwork throughout Magic, and it's actually kind of just all
wow, you paint
bangers.
beautiful women. Thank you.
Wow, pretty girl. Her Kali of the Fast looks like really good. She's got Liliana. Yeah, dang. Pretty sick. Oh, there was even like a black and white version. Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
Oh, she's done an angel before. She had an Acroma from that same Secret Lair.
She did. The Acroma looks so good. I'm looking at her stuff right now. Let's see what else. She did Elspeth Sun's Nemesis, the OG one. Oh, she did Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I've always loved that piece.
She did the original copy of Frontier Warmonger from the Ikoria pre-con. She did Raphael, Fiendish Seeker. She did Safara, Sky's Blade. She did Single Combat. She did Savitri Dragon Master. That
one looks really good.
She did the guest version of Stoneforge Mystic from Thunder Junction.
Oh, she did the dragon scale version of Misty Rainforest, the special guest Misty Rainforest, the one that has like the little baby dragons on it.
Oh, jeez, yeah. So hey, yeah, WotC, come on, make this happen.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the thing that I'm putting into a summoning circle at this point is Cassandra Battle Seraph painted by Olivia Prima.
Beautiful. I love that. I support this.
Yeah, that's a pretty good check. Let me talk about Sing Wanderwine Wisdom. Is that Wanderwine or is that Wandervine?
Yeah, Wanderwine Wisdom and Wanderbrine.
I did enter that properly. Okay. So I think this particular one holds the blade pretty well enough. You know, you get a 5/4 that's evasive, so you're applying the pressure consistently and pretty early for like a low drop. And you're also enabling a partner to come along with you to gain either protection from each color until the end of the next turn, or enabling the other creature to start drawing you cards on hit. So I'd say the SIG's pretty good.
Yeah, this guy looks sick as hell. I played against him twice in Limited and got absolutely styled on, and then I just finished drafting a deck that has 2 copies of him in it, so I think I will be styling.
Yeah. Did you got the regular and the alter version?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Incredible.
perfect. All right, so we know what you're going to be up to.
I was very much doing the how is this still in the pack, but I think the set is such that if people are extremely focused on what they're doing, they're going to leave cards like that in favor of the thing that makes their deck work.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like this guy kind of does it all. It's kind of crazy. He's a rogue on the backside. I don't know how relevant that is, but some people do be looking for those partner
if you
decks.
care about party creature types.
Yeah, party. Excuse me. Yeah. You can be both. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, good vibe checks like that. Let's move on to comments.
Yeah, we've got one from Newton here who says that Vibe Space Storytelling was a great time too. Looking forward to Strixhaven Edition. Question for the Honorable Eclipse and Eclipse. What keyword do you value the most on your creatures? And conversely, which keyword makes you the most tilted when it's opposing you? Oh, I will raise my hand and say lifelink is the most tilting.
Yeah, we know. Your entire soapbox, and you're like, you guys can't be letting me and or anyone else get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, gave all of those sermons and then started putting a bunch of lifelinkers in my decks. And then people are like, why is your life total still 40? And I'm like, why weren't you paying attention?
Yeah, I got a bit of a story time that we'll be sharing later, but yeah, it's lifelink can get pretty out of hand. Looking at you, Brie of Cloud, of Clanstad Arm.
Yeah, she's incredible. I love her. Great work, Wizards. Thank you so much. I have not come across her in Limited yet, and I'm rattling the bars of my enclosure trying to get my hands on one.
Yeah, she's pretty nutty. Okay, but what about the keyword you like? What do you like most? Is that also like the yes and? It might also be lifelink, that just incredibly fucking clown makeup of me, but it's really that good. I don't know if that's the one that I value the most, because like I really like Double Strike. Yeah. I can't remember who posted the other day on getting rid of a keyword on Bluesky, and they were like, yeah, we'll get rid of Double Strike. I'm like, whoa.
How dare you?
Some of us players need some ways of just cutting people's heads off because we're not like combo players or something. So I got to get me some Double Strike and some absolutely gross, disgusting bodies. Hilariously enough, that keyword is not, that's not on my for or against. I actually have Menace as my most valued recently. Because it makes people make decisions they don't want to be making. And it usually involves block with the 2 creatures they don't want to be blocking with, or just take the damage.
Yeah, they really nailed it when they came up with Menace.
Bit of a step up over Intimidate, where like sometimes the criteria is completely out of your hands, because once upon a time, everyone's playing Solemn Simulacrum. And they're like, I'll block all day. And I'm like, damn it. And now they have to like choose to block with it, and sometimes they're like, but if I don't block, I do just take like 20 or whatever. So Menace has been pretty big for me. But if the one I play against, I'm still on the I hate Ward 2 train. I still am to this day. And I feel like maybe I haven't really explained it, but like if it is any variation of Ward 2 plus something, I'm like, great. But if it is just baseline Ward 2, I am losing it. I'm freaking losing my mind. If it's Ward 3 plus, whatever, no one's touching that card. And if it's like Ward 1, I'm paying the 1. But Ward 2, I'm like, now you're asking too much of me. This is too much. Steph, we're going to extend this question to you because you're here with us. We could talk about this. What do you think about keywords in Magic and your for and against?
I've been trying to think. I really feel like the keyword that tilts me the most is still probably Storm, just because of the undesirable play patterns and I can soapbox about that, but I don't need to. The internet already has.
Storm on a creature. Hold on.
Yeah, like
I mean,
Storm
there are creatures with, there are enchantments with Storm. There are things with Storm, but like just Storm in general, we don't. Get out of here. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the thing that I like the most is I really like Trample. I just think there's so much crap you can do with it. You give your creature Death Touch, you give your creature First Strike, you give your the Trample just interacts with things in such weird ways, and I think it's fun.
There was I think the last Commander meetup that I just had that I'll be mentioning later, we were sitting down and someone was like, yeah, this has got Trample and Death Touch, and they go sideways, and they're like, cool, so like I'll shave off. So the person being like attacking forgot that there was the Trample Death Touch thing, and we were all like, actually no, because they're assigning lethal damage and the rest goes over. And they're like, right. Anyway, I guess I'm hitting you for more then. We're like, yep, it's just the simple things that like we will just completely ruin your blocks in a way that like I don't even care about the losses that I'm going to be incurring. Like just take all the damage. Pretty good. Trample's pretty sweet. Foundational, in fact.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Destroyander. Okay, I'm like hesitant. I feel like you and I are trying to do it at the same time.
All right, fine. Boros, my third love. Way back in the day, my third ever deck built was Iroas Dinosaurs, and that shit slapped. Made me.
Iroas is so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Continues to say, it made me equip Pilled because that was almost very literally the only card draw I could get as a budget player.
Now, this is where I'm thinking, because I brought up the comment, and like I'm pretty sure Destroyander was trying to say Mask of Memory, because I brought that up as part of like the equipment discussion from a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
Mask of Memory, sort of red and blue. There's a lot of ways that equipment will give you card advantage. So I get what they're saying there. It makes them want to revisit their OGs. Swinging Sideways has always been peak. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's about. Combat's the best part of the game.
I've been very big on combat decks lately with some very, quite frankly, disgusting results because, I mean, we're in that like crazy commander time where your value engines can like spiral out of control, but when you throw creatures into the mix, it gets even more disgusting. And yeah, I've been drinking my combat juice recently. It's been great. It's been great out here.
Combat juice is important.
Yes. We're speaking
Yeah,
of, let me have a sip right now.
It's an important part of a balanced gamer diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't just be skipping combat, everyone. That's what we keep telling you. Stop skipping it. Anyway. And so we got Jay here, aka Lobster, quoting the
thing
Bogart,
with
the Bogarts
from the lower win previous season.
Yeah, Bogart ballad. Shred it, Craig, and Shut Up, Snake are now part of my household daily jargon. Me and my 5-year-old watch the Shockland skit till her faces hurt. I am so glad what they did with those Bogarts and with that whole thing. Like, you could just do a production and do the Bogart ballad and like that'd be fine, right? Like, and everyone be like, wow, that was so great. And then they kept going and doing those podcast shorts, and that was so great.
I mean, I feel like you spend that much money collabing with Jim Henson Studios, you gotta squeeze as much out of that as you can, right?
Yes.
And so I think it was smart of them to do that. Yeah.
Among like of the things that I was not expecting to get because of some of the, I personally, I would say some worrying trends leading up to the release of the set, them coming out of nowhere with that, like that entire production and everything, that was a shocker. That made me much more endeared to Lauren Eclipse than if they hadn't done that. Maybe they'd done another.
You finding a touch of whimsy in your heart.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Jeez. Frick. Yeah. You know what? I am not completely stone cold hearted. Like, come on. That was freaking awesome. Speaking of awesome, Quinn, I think it's DJ Space Girl time.
Yeah, I got a sample flip of a sample flip, Lamau.
All right, let's hit it.
Hey, this is Johnny Mardu. I got a new track from DJ Space Girl over here. The name is called Redacted, and let me check the description here. It seems like a track that can only be described as if you're walking along Miami Beach, cloaked by the setting sun, drinking some lean. Yeah, all right.
A lich is calculating in the application of their power. we're back.
We're back. Sick track. We'll hear it in post this time. I heard a bit of the sample. You gave me the demo, and it was pretty sweet. But I'm interested to see what the end result's going to be like. All right. It's time to go into the creative media section, where let's talk about magic things that we've seen in the community. I have pulled a huge list of things here. I don't know. Yeah, Steph, what have you seen from our friends and associates and peers, magic related recently? Is there anything that you've seen that was particularly impressive or
I am a bad person to ask about this. I have had a busy last couple of weeks, so I've not been consuming content as much as I maybe ought to have been. But yeah, I did see I noticed you had a link in it. So there's one thing in your list that I did see.
Okay.
So I will wait to touch on that. But yeah, like the last couple of weeks have just been a lot.
Yeah.
And so magic content has not really been on my radar as much as it otherwise would have been. So
fair enough. All right. I'm just gonna go through my list of stuff, and Quinn, are you kind of like in the same boat, or?
I have like one thing, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So, this is kind of someone that Quinn and I know through the Legendary Creature Discord. Blake Everett, his YouTube channel, the BNR, or Magic at the Bar. Blake's a mixologist. So he's been doing some themed magic drinks while usually talking about magic cards and some like either lore and or like gameplay based stuff to tie into it. The latest video that I'll be linking will be the Sylvan Prime Cordial, which I guess is like some kind of like modified mojito. It looks and sounds very refreshing, I gotta say. He did one for Lorwyn Shadowmoor. He did one for Paradox Engine. There's only a handful of videos out at the moment. He just got started, but I'm interested to see where he's going to be taking this. So go check that out.
Yeah, I hadn't really seen anything like that on the market so far. So this is a pretty good opportunity for early investors to get in on the ground floor of this and, really just like...
Yeah, you want to kickstart the whole thing off? This is how you go do it. I am a slop drink enjoyer, so I don't think I'll appreciate it as much, but I am
I think
noticeably.
they're still just like fun. Even like I don't drink like at all, so I'm just watching these because they are like it's
artistic.
produced and
It's
put together.
artisanal. It's
And the drinks looked like they're tasty, so that's cool.
This next one's from Loading Ready Run. This is a fairly new segment called "Hey, Deck This Out," and it's just a very short, what was it, like 16 minutes or something episode of Spike Feeder Jim LePage talking about his Torwalkie and Obosh one-drop bangers deck. It's just fun watching two people riff about the most silliest deck concept around. It's a deck that I've had my eyes on ever since I had Jim on my old podcast over a couple years ago. I think it's about 3 years ago now, give or take. And it's kind of funny because like all the things that are like, they are still there. A lot of those cards are still there from like over 3 years because apparently just like does not upgrade his deck. So go check that out. That one was like a really funny, quick video to get through. And go check that deck list out because there are a lot of bangers in there, despite the fact that the deck like is fundamentally the most silliest list of one drops you will ever see.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that I did take a look at because I tend to be a big fan of Jim's builds, and I'd seen this list because I think this list is like several years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's had this for a hot minute, but yeah, it's I mean the Blood Chief Ascension stuff, and I don't know, it's neat, and I also really like that you can justifiably have an incredibly greedy land base in this deck. Like he runs 30 lands, I think.
Yeah, I think it's about that much, and I don't know if he has any MDFCs. I don't have the list on hand to show that, but yeah, when everything is a one drop, and like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, you could put a little more card draw on the deck, or like now with more modern cards coming out, like it's a little bit easier to get some card draw engines going even when you're operating at that mana value, but also turning a lightning bolt into like something crazy and all that other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Torwalkie is
Sorry, go
so
ahead.
cool. No. Just the entire deck concept. I've always adored this deck ever since I've heard about it.
Yeah. It has 5 game changers in it.
Which is crazy to think about.
Right. Yeah. It's like got Mana Vault, Imperial Seal, Vampiric Tutor, and Gamble, and then it's got Ancient Tomb. And so like, where would you play this? Like, what table would you play this at? Would you play this, like, because it is all 1-drops, right? So like, is that like bracket 1, even though it's got all those game changers in it, or are we?
I don't know. This one is like, the way I look at it, I would want to play this deck as part of like a spectacle. And I think I remember him saying in like the episode was that like now people are pretty smart to like if he's playing with like the other spike feeders or whatever, they're pretty familiar with what the deck's doing. So it's definitely more of like probably quote unquote bracket 2, because like there's probably points where he's just like running out of gas, or if he tries to get Obosh or Torwalkie out too early, like, and it gets blown up, like that probably just shuts that whole thing down. So yeah, pretty tricky to kind of figure out where to put it. I'd be playing it at my play group, like that I meet up with, downtown, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" And they'd be, they I think some of them would enjoy the bit.
Yeah.
We got like what's that flip Tybalt Planeswalker, like Valky and Tybalt, I think.
Valky, God of Lies or something.
Yeah. So the friend of mine runs it only Tybalt on the backside or whatever. Like that's the goal. But it's a walls deck. It's literally like black-red walls and stuff like that. Like that is the type of environment you want to be kind of like playing that stuff in.
Yeah. For me, most of those are tutors, right? And so if you're tutoring for a 1-drop,
what are you getting?
I'm probably less concerned about your tutors, right? I mean, and now granted, you're searching for Bloodchief Ascension, you're searching for something that's probably pretty meaningful, but still, I feel like, the Imperial Seal, the Vampiric Tutor, the Gamble, I kind of feel like, and even really the Ancient Tomb, I'm not that worried about.
You're offsetting that life lost with your commander, so it's not.
Yeah, I find I would be okay with playing this at a lower table, and I don't think it would. It really does revolve around the machine that is Torwalkie, and so if you can keep Torwalkie off the board, then you are just like, the deck doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It shuts down.
Yeah.
Can you get back up to 7 mana? No. Well, then I guess that's it.
Yeah, with 30 lands, it's gonna be hard to. Yeah.
It's tricky. So moving on. Our friends Medusa are light and back with their podcast. It seems like they got a few episodes recorded. So go check out. Okay, here we go. Get ready for it. I don't. Cole, edit this out. Future Cole, edit this out. Gaslight, Gay Crash, Girl Bite. I got it. I didn't fuck it up.
First time, every time.
First time, every time.
Yep, every time.
Despite the every other time where I fuck it up, and then I made Light fuck it up, and it was hilarious. So yeah, I enjoy those two banter, and so I'm excited. Whenever I hear my friends try to do podcasting and then they have to take a break or for whatever reason, and then they kind of get back into it, I'm like, yes, please continue to do it. So yeah. Next thing, I forgot to mention this on the last episode, so now I'll mention it on this episode. There's a lot of Magic cards that came out last year, so if you want to know what the hell's going on, go check out this video with the best cards under $10, or if you're kind of considering some form of budget. Some of the cards peak at I think $2 to $5 at most, but a lot of the other ones are like floating under $1. If you want to know what the heck happened last year in 2025, so go check out Zombies Go Nom Nom MTG. For some like really cool picks. And speaking of budget, here's a Kristen article. She's got a couple out recently. She's got a Lauren Commander set review for stuff that you might want to be taking a look at, things that you might not have considered or not keep your eye on, because either you're locked in for Lorwyn or you're not. And in this case, wow, there's a lot of stuff to go over, including some stuff I didn't even really look at when I first looked at the set. So I'm going to be picking myself up some Pyrrhic Strikes as an example. So go take a look at that article if you want to know what the heck's going on with Lorwyn.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Kristen had to put this article out about how Lorwyn Eclipse is so good it deserves another set. And honestly, I can't really disagree. I feel as if a lot of these sets really do need to breathe, and felt like, okay, I wanted more giants in the set. All right, that's what I wanted, and I'm not getting it. So I'm a little peeved. I'm a little upset.
I mean, I do feel like Lorwyn Eclipsed it felt crowded from a mechanical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I wish some of those would have gotten more room to breathe. I do. I think, I think mechanically, but also flavor-wise, lore-wise, like it would have been great to have another set. But I think specifically for me, mechanically, like, yeah, the limited environment feels crowded. It's fun, but it feels crowded.
I think one of the things that kind of really tipped me off about how people are kind of confused with like the identity of the set was that they saw the Strixhaven first year students be part of the legendary roster, and they're like, why are these people here? And if they're not tapped into the story, they have no idea. And if you didn't listen to Empress Quinn's vibe space storytelling from last episode, shame on you. You should know better. But yeah, I understand why they're there, and lore-wise, obviously, they're trying to like set up everything, and they happen to be the out-of-context witnesses to whatever the heck is going on inside Lorwyn. But it still doesn't detract from the fact that there's a lot going on in the set, and sometimes it feels like a bit too much. And it felt like, hey, maybe if we got that little like smaller set, if we were still in the 2-block structure, would have probably helped round it out.
Yeah. The block structure. Goodness gracious. I miss that. We don't need to have blocks all the time, but like sometimes.
Like them going back to back on Ravnica and them doing that for the last visit to Innistrad, like that was all fine and dandy because it was we were kind of retreading like old ground, and it's like, why can't we have gone back to back? But oh well, I mean, hey, you know what? We'll know what's going on with Strixhaven, I guess, and we'll see what's going on with that. That is the next set, right? I'm pretty sure. I can't remember.
Turtles is next.
It's the next in-universe set we did.
Okay, well then let's talk about that
them.
for a second here, because that was the other thing. So this was an article by Wizards, and if you don't know, or you didn't go to a pre-release and open Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards in your Lorwyn's packs, good, continue on. But if you do know, they did officially kind of acknowledge the fact that they fucked up in having a bunch of the rares and mythics from the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm stumbling so fast trying to get through this, but yeah, a lot of cards got leaked via this product leak, and so now a bunch of the stuff is on the Gatherer and Scryfall for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, there's some pretty cool cards in there, but it's just like, really, are you freaking kidding me? But they did write an article saying how they kind of acknowledge the fact that, yeah, that was a pretty big mess up, and it's not some conspiracy theory thing to like get people excited about Team NT. Whoopsie daisy. Oh well.
Yeah, yeah.
It
created some awkward moments for creators over the weekend, because there were some people that were, taking a picture of their pre-release promo. And then some people were like, don't share leaks. And it's like, well, this isn't a leak, buddy. This was literally my pre-release card.
This was, it's crazy to, yes, okay, whether, I can't remember. What was the rule that came up where, like, people were allowed to play with them or they weren't allowed? I can't really remember.
You were allowed to play with them, although Wizards Wizards proposed that your store give you a new pre-release kit, but then didn't provide, they didn't give like any kind of structure for like, okay, we will reimburse you for those pre-release kits that were bad or whatever. And so but they said, if it's possible, you should just get another pre-release kit from your store, and like that was the loose guidance that they were given. But
that's crazy.
But the article that Blake put out said we're trying to do something. We're going to do something. We don't know what that something is yet because we're still kind of trying to figure this out. But we're going to do something for the impacted stores. We just need to, first of all, we need to assess the problem. We need to assess the scope of the problem. We need to figure out what stores were impacted, and then we'll figure out what we need to do. So,
but yeah, hey, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes early, I guess.
I just think that has to suck on so many levels. You're like an old head excited for the air quotes triumphant return to normal Magic the Gathering.
Beyond biggest
hater. You open up
hater.
this fucking pre-release promo and there's this turtle in your pack. Like, bro, what? And then you're like trying to play the limited archetype that you've maybe like seen some of the articles for, and you've planned for all of these, you know, the kind of tricks that you can expect. And then somebody sneaks in Raphael's technique. Bro, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know T Coates is not excited about this development, but that's a whole other thing. But so a lot of that stuff has now been officially uploaded because they're like, well, unfortunately the cat's out of the bag, so you can go take a look at the cards, I guess.
I think all the rares and mythics are uploaded,
which is, that's so crazy. Like I don't even want to think about how preview season is going to look like for that. Like, now everyone's like, okay, now I got to make this uncommon look like really exciting, you know? Alas.
Yeah.
Also,
they acknowledge they're like, yeah, previews are going to look really different, but like that's an us thing. We're going to figure out how to handle that and try to still make it exciting. Because like while they did, the cards themselves are spoiled, there's like art treatments and stuff that they can probably leverage and share and whatnot, or that they haven't released yet. So, yeah, I think there's still some fun things they can do. But
I also think it's weird that they didn't take this opportunity to put out a secret lair for Lorwyn, or cards that you would expect to be in the Lorwyn art style done with that. It feels like that would have been a slam dunk.
Nope, they were going ahead with the Fallout secret lair, which
if you're doing a secret lair drop anyway, fucking put that one on there.
I know. Like,
what are we doing?
I don't know. Who wouldn't have wanted? Like, I don't know. They had. I don't know. I got no commentary on that part. On one hand, maybe they should have looked into doing that, because I'm sure people would have loved like super duper bling printings of whatever old Lorwyn legends. A new brand Stout Arm would have gone freaking sick. But anyway, but yeah, I don't. You know what? I haven't heard anything about how the secret layer drop went today. I got no context. I've seen nothing on my Bluesky except for when people were going to tap into it today, and then that was it. I haven't heard anything from it since.
Everything's still available. Literally right now, all of the foil editions of everything are still available.
Yeah,
all of the base editions are still
complaining
available
online. It sounds like they probably got their stuff and then were like, all right, I don't need to post.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to normally, like, it's falling apart. The system's down. It kicked me out of the... Yeah.
Well, I don't think there was as much hype for this one. I feel like Fallout's one of those, like, it's not as universal of a...
beloved franchise.
Yeah, it's just not. Like, there's a dedicated following for it, but...
Hey, that Fallout show's doing really good right now.
It sure is. It sure is. And I think that the people who wanted this got it, and I'm excited about that for them. But yeah.
Look out for more Mothmans on your opponent's side of the battlefield.
Oh, yeah. Yay. I love multi-value monsters.
Oh, they're a dime a dozen nowadays. Okay. Let's move on to the section of brews off the shelf where we talk about games and new brews and everything.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Steph, has there been... We could obviously talk about, like, your limited gameplay or maybe a particular set that you and Brad have been playing amongst yourselves, maybe. But has there been any commander decks that you've been playing recently that have really piqued your interest, or something new that you put together that you're really excited to play?
Yeah, so I will answer your question, I promise. But the background here is I don't build commander decks very frequently. We were talking about commander deck counts earlier, and I've been playing commander for like 13, 14 years. 14, I think, at this point. And so I don't take decks apart very often at all. Like the last time I took a deck apart, I think was probably 6 or 7 years ago.
That's crazy.
Right,
Whoa.
right. So when I build a deck, it is a forever deck. And so I go through iteration after iteration after iteration, and I have tons of unfinished decks that are like in a folder on Moxfield that are like waiting for one or two more cards that can from new
Really
sets
make it
that can
click.
that fit a certain role and that can make the deck sing, right? And so I've got a couple of those that are kind of like on the back burner, but as far as like I don't have a new deck. I think my most recent deck that I have built was, let's see here. It is there we go. It's my Tristani Selesnia's voice deck, and I built that. When did I build that? I built that.
Well, that was last year. No, the year before then, right?
Yeah, it was like 11 months ago. That's when I put the deck together. So almost it was my birthday deck for last year, and yeah, I haven't built another one in paper since then. So my answer to your question is boring because of that. But I do have I will say that one of the decks that has been on my back burner for a long time that is in my unbuilt decks folder that I think has enough juice for me to go back and revisit it now with the Lorwyn Eclipse set. I have a Jeskai Giants deck with Ruhan the Fomori at the front.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and I still want a few more cards that do a particular kind of thing. I really love the idea of giants entering the battlefield and shaking the earth, right? So something like a Warstorm Surge, or there's a card called Sarkhan's Unsealing that I really love. Like when big creature happens, it shakes the earth and it makes everybody, or it does damage to something, right? I love that mechanically and like theoretically, but there's just not a lot of stuff that does it. And so I needed a few more giants that just were good on their own, and could make the deck playable. And I also needed some giants that were a little bit like lower mana cost than like 7 or 6.
Just hit 6, 7, 8, and there's just all gas, but you're like, okay, but like,
What are we doing on turns 2 and 3?
Right,
get down
exactly.
my
So, and similarly, we have things like Impact Tremors. We have things like Perforos, but Impact Tremors, you're paying 2 mana for something that deals 1 damage whenever you cast your 6 mana giant. Like that isn't actually what we want to be using Impact Tremors for, but it's what I want the deck to be like, especially the name Impact Tremors. That's the thought that I have going into it. So I have that deck that's I don't know if it has quite enough things yet. I'm looking for maybe 1 or 2 more cards that do the big creature happens, big punishment occurs thing that I can put into it. But yeah. So anyway, that's that. And then I've got a very silly deck with Ragadraga at the front of it that I actually think has enough support now, because we had a few cards that were released in Duskmourn and a few cards after that allow your creatures to tap for mana of any color. It's boars, and I'm calling it mana porks.
Oh my god.
And so it's just a bunch of pigs, and we're going to use them to tap for mana and benefit from it. So yeah. That's what I got going on.
Incredible. OMG.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, this is the one where I'm I'm just going to show and be like, I clearly don't tap into your streams often enough. But of all the sets that you and Brad have been doing sealed and limited for I don't know how long you've been doing it, because it feels like simultaneously forever and no time at all, that you're like, oh yeah, we're doing Return to Ravnica block and all this other stuff. What is the one set that stood out to you, or is still kind of stood out among all the other ones that you have been drafting or playing with recently?
It's honestly Mystery Booster 2 is so good.
Pick your favorite child. Pick your favorite child.
I know. No, Mystery Booster 2 is seriously so good, and we have 2 more little blocks of 12 of it that we're just gonna hold on to and hoard for a rainy day, because honestly, it is so much fun. There's not really a way to prepare for it. At the beginning of every stream, we do a little slideshow to tell people, hey, these are the kinds of archetypes that you can prepare for to see here. This is what we're going to be thinking about whenever we're building and whenever we're opening packs. Mystery Booster 2, you really just kind of have to fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
And there's something really fun about that for me, especially someone who has learned to kind of study limited formats. You really, it's a skill test, and I think I like that about it a lot. And I think it's a well balanced skill test too. I think there's just there's some really fun. The playtest cards that they have in there are really fun, and they change the game in very interesting ways. I think in the original Mystery Booster product, it was a few more memes and a few like less mechanically really interesting things, but I think they put some more mechanically interesting things in the Mystery Booster 2 slot.
Absolutely.
And so
I think about Jeskai Baller all of the time.
Yeah.
Like Creature with a rebound. Oh, incredible.
And they had a whole cycle of cards that made Magic the Gathering play like other card games without saying what those card games were. I loved
Dual
that.
Mastery is another one that I'm also always thinking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So Mystery Booster 2, I think, will just always have that, will always be on that throne for me. We've played some really cool other ones, like Time Spiral Remastered is also really, really, really good. I honestly, we played Lorwyn, Morningtide, Shadowmoor, and Eventide recently, and I don't think that was just holding those cards was just wild to me, let alone opening booster packs with them. But yeah, honestly, I really love older sets too, because I think sealed is just the variance is just so high now with these play boosters, because you can open 3 rares, sometimes 4 rares in a pack. And
I think I opened my kit because what I wanted to do, and we could probably maybe coordinate it a little better, and maybe we'll see how next weekend works out. But I was hoping to see if we could do like either a 2-headed giant or like free for all Lorwyn Eclipse Limited over on MTG Lexicon, and unfortunately, not everyone could get their hands on a sealed kit because, well,
those
as it turns out,
very in demand this weekend.
Yeah, like when I went to my store, I think there were maybe like 18 or 20 on the shelf. So either they had that much product or it wasn't popular. Take your pick. I'm not sure which one, but it's probably all true in some way, shape, or form. But I'm pretty sure I opened like 9 or 10 rares or mythics, like if I remember correctly, which I was like, that's kind of crazy depending on what combination of stuff that you open.
Yep,
like
it is many.
Yeah.
And sealed with older booster packs where you're opening 1 rare a pack and you're not playing all of those rares, right? So those rares are probably, like, you're probably playing maybe 2 or 3 maybe if you're really lucky rares from your pool in your sealed deck. You're leaning a lot more on those commons and uncommons and the synergies between them than you are in how many of the rares that I opened can I cram into a deck and what colors do I need to play to do that. And so the strategy is just a lot different whenever you are playing with older booster packs or with booster packs that were meant specifically for draft with just that 1 rare slot, or maybe 2 if you get that one foil rare that comes in every box. If you happen to get that booster pack, right? So playing with those older packs, I just really, really, really like for that reason, just because it's different. Now, I still like Sealed Now, and Sealed Now is fun. I just think it's very different.
It's completely different.
But it is a treat to play with those older packs that only have that 1 slot for rares.
Yeah, it was. I remember the handful of times that I drafted, like around 2012 or 2013, like wasn't normally a thing that came up. I think I did Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate was like one of the last other like draft things that I did that wasn't like someone's cube or something. We were doing pure Innistrad sealed at like 12 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I opened it and like I saw, God, what was it? Skurstag High Priest and like Demon Male Hallberg in my pack, and I'm like, fuck, I have to send Skurstag High Priest over to someone if I don't take it. This card is awesome. But then I'm like, oh, but if I give someone Demon Male Hallberg and they get like a 1/1 flying spirit, like this is gonna be like a terrible time. And and then I'm like, oh, but how can I like manage to draft both of them? Like, is it gonna come back around? And then I'm like, I literally have no control over this because I have no idea what I'm doing anyway. And I couldn't even tell you what the color combination was. I think I probably tried going white, black or something, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, it's just like but that was it. I wasn't going to be worried about opening a foil Skurstag High Priest and a Skurstag High Priest. Like, it just wasn't going to be happening. So, yeah, much different beasts. It's pretty interesting to have, like, history at your fingertips when it comes to, like, drafting experiences or even sealed experiences. Like, you're like, wow, you have literal night and day examples by opening Lorwyn packs or Return to Ravnica versus, like, what we're doing right now in 2026.
I've only played the limited with sets from, like, Foundations forward.
Yeah.
So I don't have a whole lot of experience with the opening and like building experience from all those older sets, but it is very fun to watch you all do that on your stream. And
how many core sets have you done so far?
How many?
Yeah, because for at least for my awareness, anytime I've seen you two announce stuff, it's usually like a set, like a block set or something.
Yeah, so I mean, we've done. Gosh, let's see here. I know we've done. I think we started our stream when Bloomburrow came out, but we've done Thunder Junction, we've done Bloomburrow, Duskmourn Foundations, Tarkir, Aetherdrift, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternity, Spider-Man, Avatar. Yeah, we've done all of them since then. And then we've done a smattering of older ones as well. Like we'll throw those in because those are obviously more expensive for us to get our hands on, and so we don't do them a ton.
Like you're not just gonna just do it out of nowhere. Like, oh,
right, yeah.
We're gonna do the dark like out of nowhere. Like that shit ain't happening. No.
Yeah. So occasionally we'll do for like special occasions or whatnot. Like we did Battle Bond sealed for Two-Headed Giant with Jen and Donnie. Over New Year's, which was really fun. We've done the Theros full block. We did like a whole week of that where it was like 4 different streams. We did the same setup for Cons of Tarkir, same setup for Return to Ravnica. But yeah, no, we've done Origins. We've done. I don't know. There's like we've done a couple remastered sets. We've done Modern Horizons sets. We've done like we've done a bunch.
Okay, I was just like, as someone who's always been like in the thick of core sets when they come out, and often like some of the more dedicated and more experienced players that I knew did drafting a lot, like when I was younger, they would always like. No, I'm gonna skip the core set. Like either it's going to be figured out, or they kind of like downplay it because whenever they did core sets, it was always like mechanically simplified.
Oh, so you mean when you say core set, you're not meaning like the normal sets, that like the draftable sets. You're talking like core set 2010 or core set 2011.
Exactly.
Oh, we have done none of those. We own core set 2009.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm sorry, no, it's 2019. We own core set 2000. I'm looking at.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, ninth ed versus.
We own 2019, and I think that's the only one that we purchased. So Foundations feels pretty similar to a core set to me. We did have fun with Foundations. I would agree. Yeah. Yeah. We did have fun with Foundations. We didn't do a ton of it. We were ambassadors for that set, so we got product, but we didn't buy more product than what we got and what we won from pre-release. So, we just, I think that's about as close to it as we got. It's not as it's not super mechanically interesting, and so we haven't really prioritized getting those. We just so happen to have 2019 packs. I'm not sure exactly why we have them, but we'll probably do that at some point because we have them. It's just I don't know that I'm going to be seeking those core sets out.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It's like, they're there. You might be able to like, what was it, core set 2011 when the Titan cycle was first introduced? You'd be like, that would be kind of fun, but like other than that,
I mean, it does feel like Magic in its purest form, right? Like you're casting Doomblade on somebody's Inferno Titan, and I feel like that's cool, right?
You're usually casting some weird like specific color hate card that only hits like it's a white card that hits black and red things, and then that's the only thing it does though, and you're like. Cool. I can't use this in this pool right now. I'll put it on my sideboard or whatever, Like, yeah. Much different than where usually things are like, you could just indiscriminately kill that, but there's usually some like kind of drawback now. You're like, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll often one of the things that Brad really likes to do is whenever we like introduce a set at the start of the stream, he'll give a little bit of background about the plane and about the lore and all that fun. And like, you can't really do that with not that would inhibit us from playing with it. Like, it would just be a little bit less fun.
So hey, let's take a look. Like, okay, if you look at Origins, you're like, okay, we have everything from like the 5 planes that all 5 of the planeswalkers are hailing from. So you're like, oh, we got Vryn and Theros, and we got Dominaria again for like the 150th time. You're like, yeah, woohoo, Dominaria. Like, that's usually like kind of the generalized backdrop that they do for the core sets.
I think there's like 2 core sets that have a main character. There's one of them that's like all Chandra, and then another one that's about Teferi, and there's like 20 different printings of that one Teferi.
Chandra?
You know the one.
Was Chandra 2015?
It's the one where the 4-mana Chandra who downticks to be a Sisay's Ring is from, and I cannot remember what her actual title is.
I got no idea. There's so many Chandras I can't keep track.
There's over 20.
Yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, man, a lot of Magic sets, a lot of stuff to look at. Quinn, I need you to hit copy and paste, and as we say, don't scare the hose when you do it. Show us what you got going on.
All right, that was M20 with Chandra and Novice Pyromancer.
Oh, M20. Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know if I care that much about this guy.
I don't know who you're talking about. I imagine you're talking about Grub or Tristan.
Yeah, let's grab this one instead.
This is all part of the process and all part of the episode, everyone. Hold on.
So normal.
Okay, hit us with it. All right, here. Whoa, hey, there we go. I'm also realizing now that I did not give Steph editing privileges, and that feels very goofy of me.
That's okay. If I needed to edit it, I would have yelled at you about it, but I'm just vibing.
Perfect. That's what we're here for. All right, Quinn, hit us with the 5-color slop.
Oh my gosh, it's not even slop.
Kidding. I'm kidding. You had to do the set mechanic with Ashling the Limitless.
Post so inflammatorily. You're gonna make the gamers upset.
I thought that was my role.
Y'all remember Scam from Modern?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. So they printed Ashling the Limitless, and she does the thing whenever you sacrifice a non-token elemental, you make a token that's a copy of it, it gains haste, and then at the beginning of your next end step, sacrifice it unless you pay Wooberg. She gives elemental permanent spells or creature spells, one of those two, I don't know, they eroded it. The card says elemental spells from your hand, you cast from your hand, have evoke 4. So the game plan is you cast an elemental for 4 mana, and then you scam the elemental, just like we did in that Modern deck. I looked at this card and decided, yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to port that deck to EDH. I'm not going to look at that deck list, though. We're just going to do it on vibes. I remembered that the deck had like Grief, Scam cards, and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And then Fury was also there. So that's the 4 big things that we needed to make sure that we hit. And so we go into the fucking deck builder utility. We hit our Rakdos mana base because Ashling says the only thing that I really need is mountains. And then for my game plan, the things that we need are black mana because that's where the Feign Death, the Undying Malice, the Fake Your Own Death, like
Supernatural
all those
Stamina, so on.
Yeah, exactly. Those cards are in black mana. So the minimum required mana base to make this whole thing work is swamps and mountains. And we're like, all right, mission accepted. I will do exactly that, Ashling. So we put that in there. We've got our elementals. We've got the ones that say evoke, of course, and then the rest of the elementals that I think are cool and good. In particular, I wanted to draw attention to the hybrid ones from the new set, stuff like Emptiness and Deceit and Catharsis and Vibrance. I've got those 4. I also had the 5th one, the axolotl, Wistfulness. There we go. Yes, that's its name. We had that. The thing about these is they don't do a whole lot if you don't spend any mana on them. So we wanted to ensure that if we were going to spend mana on them, we could at least get some kind of benefit out of it. And we can with all of these because they're either hybrid red or hybrid black. But Wistfulness is blue and green, and no matter which way you slice it, we simply cannot make blue or green mana without doing a bunch of jumping through more hoops. And I'm not going to be like, this card is good if I have this card and this card and this card. Like, if that's the requirement to make it good, then it's not good, and we're going to cut it. So we left that guy out. But other than that, I got my guys. We're going to cast them for the evoke cost, either on the card or for Ashling, and then we're going to hit them with the Feign Death and return them to the battlefield. You get to make a lot of value when you do this thing. You can have like Lumra, Bellow of the Woods on turn 4, which feels pretty strong.
That was kind of nutty to catch a glimpse of that, where I look back and I come back and there's a Lumra, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's fucking
I'm
actually
like
the
looking
limitless.
at my mana base, it's just swamps and mountains. Here's Lumra anyway.
Yeah. Still gross.
So we do that, and then Lumra like enters the battlefield, mills a bunch of cards, put all the lands onto the battlefield from our graveyard tapped, then we sacrifice that, and then we do it again when Ashling makes the Shadow Clone. And if we've done our job and we have a scam card in hand, then we can hit the original Lumra with the scam card, and when that dies, return it to the battlefield and do the thing again. And these are extremely impactful game actions to be taking early because it sets you up to be casting your chonky elementals later, or casting like 2 evoke ones if you're not hard casting them. You just like, we're a really mana and card advantage hungry deck, and the green elementals like Lumra and like
What, Cavalier of Thorns? Freaking
Yes.
3 green?
Exactly, the Cavalier of Green mana. I'm not casting that via the like lands on the battlefield. We're evoking that. Yeah, so this guy like does the ramp and then regrowths a thing that we have milled potentially when it dies. You only get to do that one time because you can't exile a token when it dies, the same way that you can like the body of the Cavalier. But
Right, yeah.
that trigger is powerful enough that it's fine if you only get it once. If we do make those things happen, we do, like, we're skyrocketed into the future in terms of the gameplay plan. And it sets us up really well to take advantage of the mass reanimates that we have in here. That's the other thing that we're on. If we're going to put all these guys in the graveyard, then at some point we're going to want to bring them all back from the graveyard. And so I've selected Living Death, Haunting Voyage, and Funeral Room Awakening Hall for these purposes. All of those on like turn 8 or 9. I cast that and I win the game, and we're good to move on to game 2.
I mean, it's hard to I keep scrolling through this list. And here's the thing, right? This is not the first time I've seen an Empress Quinn deck where you have taken a quote-unquote 5-color commander and then done something off the beaten path with the mana base and still somehow manage to get away with it. I'm specifically looking at Maha, Its Feathers Knight, and Fury, and just being like, what the hell?
I can be the absolute worst with some of the cards in this deck. Let's, okay, so a couple of the absolute worst play patterns that we can do is, like you described, Maha, Its Feathers Knight, an elemental, Fury, an elemental. We can cast these guys. I'd probably like hard cast Maha, because that's the kind of bird that you want to stick around.
Yeah,
but
you do
Fury
that.
for sure, Z's, we evoke that all day. That's what you're supposed to do with the scam deck anyway. And we just like set your guys to 1 and then kill enough of them. Alternatively, I have Wake the Dead in this deck, which is a instant that you can only cast during an opponent's turn, but for X black, you can return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield and sacrifice those creatures at the beginning of the next end step. So if you're a evil gamer like me who thinks about the card Dance Macabre and the deck archetype of Dance Macabre control, You can play something like Living Lightning, who's an elemental shaman, and when it dies, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So you cast your Wake the Dead, you return your Living Lightning and some value creature like I don't know, Sunspine Lynx. How about like a Rotten Mouth Viper? Does that sound good?
Why is that thing an elemental? What the fuck?
I just return those from my graveyard to the battlefield. We block or get whatever value on your turn. We sacrifice them to the text on Wake the Dead. We trigger Ashling. We make some shadow clones who don't go away until my next end step, so I still have those. And then when Living Lightning dies, I put Wake the Dead back in my hand.
You know, honestly, about the Living Lightning thing, I can't complain that much because Red has always been looking for like their Archaeomancer adjacent like effects. But when you put it under this specific lens, I'm like, you gotta stop. These needs to be stopped like right away. Where's my graveyard hate? Why do I never have it when I need it?
Oh, I did get absolutely bodied with a Scavenger Grounds on a different deck the other day, and it was just, oh man.
Absolutely ruinous. Your plans were foiled. Your crops are withering.
Yep, exactly. I turned into a corn cob right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what a
like
sick deck, though, really.
Stuff from this that I noticed from gameplay experiences is I constantly need more card draw. We're so thirsty for it. So I gotta either up my recursion game with stuff like Raised Dead, not like actual Raised Dead, but like it's 2026
Raised Dead adjacent.
plus.
Yeah.
Gix's Command from Standard a while back.
That's a pretty good card
there and want to play it in Commander like always. So I think this is a good spot for it. We can Raise Dead some creatures with that. We also can just like draw more cards. I have Stargaze in here, which feels good, but I think I could, like with all of the ramp that I make capable of doing, cast another like X draw spell or something like that. It's really tragic that I can't take advantage of the green Power Matters draw. Like I've got a Disciple of Bolus, and that's about as close as we get without hang on, what's her name? I just remembered the D&D girl.
Shoot. Shadowheart.
Shadowheart, perfect. And she is in my colors and can be activated at instant speed, so I can scam with that. Perfect.
Okay. Now you're starting to cook here.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing that we can do here to get some more card advantage in here. I was looking at that Planet Land Susur Secundi Void Altar, but I think that one you can only activate at sorcery speed, which is not ideal for my game plan. I would really like to be crunching the one that I have to sacrifice to evoke. Like, if I have to get rid of it anyway, then, we'd sacrifice it for value. And I've got a lot of ways to take advantage of that so far that I'm pretty pleased with the performance of.
Yeah, this is one of those decks where it really does the phrase restrictions breed creativity. I was like, limits breed creativity. No, that's not right. Yeah, it is tricky when it comes to like how heavy do you lean on like the creature effect side of things to get like your card draw and other like payoffs. I'm also like thinking, especially because you got your mana base like pretty simplified, couldn't like a Cabal Coffers or something might end up like coming in like clutch in this type of list? Like if you're already making an excess of one type of mana anyway and you're going to be having a bunch of creatures in your graveyard.
Oh yeah, I could be playing Cabal Coffers, I could be playing Nick Those Shrine to Nyx. I'm sure any of that kind of thing would come in handy in this. I was just brain all the way off. I've got the red-black fetch land, I've got a command tower, and I've got swamps and mountains.
Yeah, it's simple. It's to the point. You're like, wow, I have a bunch of swamps, so I can keep this hand. Where's my mountain though?
As long as we can cast something with red or black mana and we can get to 4 so that we can evoke something, that's all we like really need. We'll figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm. Steph, what do you think about this deck so far?
I mean, I'm looking at it now. I think the Shadowheart's a good include here. I
want to take a look at my like creature only Golgari deck and be like, what part of like the green creature suite would be like really helpful here? I don't know. I feel like you got most of what you want to get out of this type of deck anyway, with the obvious and anticipated shortcomings of having these issues. That being said, I am surprised you did not put the alternate art printing of Harvester of Souls on this list, and I am disappointed.
Who?
You know, Harvester of Souls, the one
the old border one.
Yeah.
I actually have an Alice and Restored Foil Harvester of Souls, so I just like to look at that guy.
Fair enough. All right, I will stand corrected then.
Trying to figure out what alternate art you're talking about. Is it the
So it's
30th
the one
anniversary promo?
Yeah, it was like the one that like the one with the 2012 stamp on it.
Yeah, the one that looks like a goblin.
Yeah, that one. I like that guy. He looks so cool. He's just like being a little guy, despite the fact that he's just like a 6-mana 6 with death touch.
Yeah, he looks like a little gremlin.
Or 5/5, yeah. I mean, that is the thing too. Like, especially if you're trying to do this whole elemental thing and you're trying to, like, your quote unquote like creature draw engine stuff for stuff dying is like Grim Harvespex, Harvester of Souls, High Society Hunter, Relics the Accursed, aka Spider-Man card Agent Venom, and Morbid Opportunist, and Disciple of Bolas, and Shadowheart eventually at some point. Also featuring Liliana Dreadhorde General.
One of the best instances of whenever a creature dies, draw a card.
She's
incredible
kind of
work.
nuts. Planeswalkers always come up, but she always, for at least what I've noticed, when people are playing black and they're playing a Planeswalker, like, she tends to show up pretty often. She does a lot of work.
Yeah, I think each player sacrifice 2 creatures is pretty backbreaking.
I can't believe you
So
put in
people
Dark
are
Prophecy in
forgiving
here.
of that.
This is hilarious.
Bro, I told you I am desperate for any type of card draw, so even Dark Prophecy will play, and we can definitely cast it with this mana base. My fixing is impeccable.
Check out all these swamps and this one mountain holding up this entire pillar right over here.
No, we can absolutely do the, what is it called? There's more dual lands and also...
No. Obviously, you can lean into
Urborg.
the whole dual land angle. You don't need to do that. And you've obviously just, like, put this deck
Yeah,
together.
we can clean that up, but even just playing it on what we have here, it functions fine, so I don't know if I need to.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more recommendations that could be made. I'm immediately thinking of, like, I don't know how if Angel of Suffering fits into this, but in case, like, depending on how crazy your reanimation stuff, could be pretty good. I guess Cavalier of Night doesn't really work because there's like nothing lower mana value enough.
Cavalier bites in the deck, bro.
Looks again. Takes a look. Cavalier. Never mind. I stand corrected. Wow, I'm really paying
put the
attention
whole
to this
Cavalier
episode, aren't
cycle
I?
in here because they're elementals.
And they're
Speaking
kinda
of wizards, please, where's my borderless Cavalier cycle? I beg you.
The greedy Magic the Gathering gamer over here just can't have enough.
It's in the same place as our alternate art for Cassandra.
In the alternate universe where they have that.
You're so right.
Yep, it's tough out there being a bling appreciator when WotC doesn't even give them the same courtesy. I mean, like, that entire Cavalier cycle is so cool. They really did nailed it, and then they did nothing with them ever since, and it's disappointing. I think, I mean, granted, all of them compositionally are, like, super sick, but, like, you know, I like to see a different Cavalier of Gales. That would be pretty great. Yeah, cool deck. This is pretty sweet.
Swag. Thanks. All right, what you got for me?
So this is going to be the life gain thing that we were talking about earlier. Let's talk about my Sephiroth Fallen Hero deck featuring Oxen. Actually, this time, this one goes out to Steven. I put this deck together a while back, and the building journey to get to this point has always been crazy. Also, unrelated, but kind of related, I managed to put a Reese the Evermore in this list because I wanted ways to remove counters off of some of the summons in the deck in case they were getting too close for comfort. But also they can be there to gain persist, just to also still be modified. So Bulwark Ox managed to come out to play this time, and it came out pretty early, and it was doing a lot of work when I was just like putting plus some counters on stuff pretty early. Then Gimli of the Glittering Cave showed up to the battlefield alongside with Ian the Reckless, and then I just curved out into Sephiroth and started turning things sideways, and people were like, oh shit, as I'm like turning Ian the Reckless into a 7/5 that deals 7 damage to something or someone while also dealing 7 damage to me. And then all of that didn't really matter about that self-inflicted damage because Envoy of the Ancestor showed up to get all of my modified creatures lifelink. And then I gained like an absolute boatload of life. And that was super great. And I was getting a bunch of mana with Gimli and the Professional Facebreaker coming out to make a bunch of treasure tokens. I was like, hey, I need some extra card advantage. The Ox of Agonist came out and showed up, and that was pretty great. I was putting everyone to low life totals. Two of my opponents were at 9, and then another opponent of mine was at 6. And I'm like, all right. And then I passed the turn, and my friend Ryan was like, cool story. Anyway, it's time to exchange our life totals. And then I went from over 60 or however the combination was back to 6.
Bodied.
I was taken out of the game. There was no way for me to get back into it. They blew up my Envoy of the Ancestors. They were like, get that fucking shit out of there. And I'm like,
they're correct too, but that card does rule.
Yep.
I'm a big
and then
fan.
I'm like, Witch's Clinic, save me. And I was at the point where I'm like, I thought I would do like the Ian the Reckless attack trigger to deal something 7 damage, but I was at 6 life and would just die on the attack. And it was like, I will not do that. I will just give Sephiroth lifelink and try to fight for my life. And unfortunately, it was already too late. Ryan was playing Merkel, what was it, God of the Dead or whatever the subtitle is, and was just cleaned up house. It was just too late. Damage was done. I was robbed of my definitely 100% pure 1 victory. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with the changes that I made to the deck. A lot of the stuff that I've been talking about the last few weeks when it comes to just like quote unquote like Boros or Boros like adjacent decks that I've been putting together. Luminarch Aspirant, the Bulwark Ox, those types of cards just casually giving around +1 counters has been paying off big time, even without like tacked on keywords on top of it.
Nice. I love that the Oxen actually play a real role.
I know. I was like, every time that like I've been adding more and more, and Steven's just like, you got to get on this Bulwark Ox stuff. And I was like, I don't want to saddle a creature. And then you start saddling a creature, realizing that you can also sacrifice it to give stuff hexproof and indestructible. And that's also pretty sweet.
You're going to make you like vehicles one way or another, dude.
Yeah, you'll have to drag me kicking and screaming to do it, but I'll eventually get around to it. I haven't gotten Reckless Bivouac out yet as like the additional hidden ox hidden in the lands, but like even it is having like utility and meaning like in this list here, and I'm glad that I managed to get it in here. But I really do want to get
modifies a creature.
I want to get it and Needle Spires out as like the hidden quote unquote modified creatures group and be like, oh no, you blew up my board. Anyway, here's Sephiroth, animate Needle Spires, go to combat, and everyone like loses their mind.
I love creature lands after a board wipe.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, my defenses are down. Ox upon ye. I'm glad they did make that restless cycle. That was so cool that they managed to do that. And
yeah,
they feel
I think that's the best iteration of it so far. Shout out to Restless Cottage, your graveyard hate that I can put into green-black decks without actually having to spend a slot on.
It's just there, ready to go, hidden, lying in wait. All right.
I will say I'm a little disappointed I don't see Contraband Livestock in here in your removal category. I'm just saying.
Oh, shit.
Oh, geez. Okay, hold on. It's
you
not...
can bestow the blessings of an ox on somebody else.
I'm not Steven. I don't have to do that. That's not the whole bit. I don't need to do that. I'm mostly trying to do my own scamming anyway.
Though.
It would be beautiful, and that card is delightful, and you could give someone farm animals.
It's true, yeah. See what the end result is. Just roll a die and be like, yeah, you get Yeah, you got a Nox. Why not? Go for it. Have fun.
I have a signed Contraband livestock from Jen Filthy MTG Casuals because she's a player of that card quite a bit. And I was like, let me get one of those and let me get your signature on that signature card.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's pretty funny. Quinn, what else you got for us?
All right, do you want to hear about Servandum or Tristan Green and Black Mana?
Steph, what do you think?
Let's steer Servandum.
All right, sounds good.
I haven't heard of anyone talking about Servandum in a while, so, and there's probably usually a reason for it. The question marks.
Yeah, listen, I wasn't expecting to, but I was going through the list of decks that we had in the Mox field and was just like, oh, we put this together? Okay, well, let's take a look at that. And then we did a play test of it because there was a full, complete deck list of the Orzhov, Warp X Void set mechanic pile from the Edge of Eternities. We play tested it and it was good, so we took it again to the MTGO metagame and made some adjustments for the cards that we had on the platform, and then played it there, and it was continually good. So here we are talking about this deck that is real, apparently. So yeah, we got the bracket 2 Orzhov Warp and Void deck with Servandum in the command zone. He is a really good, a starting point for this, I guess, because he gives you the colors for everything, and whenever a creature you control dies or is put into exile, you put a +1/+1 counter on him, and you gain a life. So if you're doing all of the warp things that you're supposed to be doing, when you send those guys back to the warp at the end of the turn, he pays you off for doing all of that. And I don't think I'm taking advantage of it very much in this deck, but there is an engine to be seen here with, whenever you gain a life, do something cards, like a Heliod in them, which would lean pretty well into the +1/+1 counter stuff that Vondom already has going on. And it's also removal in the command zone, so you feel pretty good about just sending that guy into combat, that you're going to get your karmic justice, as it were. That feels pretty good. All right, so deck construction. I got cards that say Warp on them. I got cards that say Void on them. That's where we started.
Cool. Print deck this go. I don't know the syntax. I'm just go for it. The Scryfall syntax is O:warp and then O:void, CI:Orzhov, and we started there. Probably sorted by EDA Trek because that lets me know the cards that people are playing, and it lets me know the cards that people are playing so that I can avoid both halves of that. And then we dropped in the Stoneblade package because of who I am as a gamer, and also because that works very well with what Servandum wants you to be doing with putting creatures into exile. If you're playing Philia and you're blinking your Stoneforge Mystic, then all of that is sending guys into exile and putting counters on your guy. Hey, we found out where Phalia's home plane is.
Where?
I'm joking. I was going to say it's the edge,
okay. I was going to say where. Take me to there, please.
Okay, do you want to go? Oh, well, look, this
kid wanted that information.
Wait, do you? No, I'm joking because Quinn's going with a theme here, and I got to go with it.
Well, we also put rares and mythics from the set that we had on MTGO that we wanted to play. I had the... What is that big rock? The Requiem Monolith. There we go. Yeah. This is a card that brings me just a bunch of fucking fun. It's kind of a Phyrexian arena, but also whenever this creature's dealt damage, you draw that many cards and lose that much life. And you just put that on creatures and send them into combat, and you kind of just don't care what happens. If it dies, then you draw a bunch of cards when it's dealt damage, or you get in for damage and your opponent's life total goes down, which is what I'm mostly looking for. So I'm a big fan of that. We also had the Dawnsire, which means we get to do the thing where you put the Dawnsire in the same deck as your Barbed Servitor, and then you fingers crossed that those two are on the battlefield at the same time. And you can station up your Dawn-Sire and then go to combat and do the Death Laser targeting your Barbed Servitor, who says when Barbed Servitor is dealt damage, target opponent loses that much life. So we can just, in Orzhov, turn the Death Laser, bounce it off of the Barbed Servitor into somebody's face.
Gross. Disgusting.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, yeah.
I like most things that involve the words Death Laser over and over again, so
Yeah.
my needs are not many.
Considering
an enjoyer of Death Lasers.
I think doing your own like goofy redirection thing of like, well, I would love to hit a person in the face, but Dawn-Sire says it specifically has to be a creature.
It's so funny that they're like, we can put whatever on here because it goes to, like, it only hits a creature. They can't even go to face. So we can put just unrealistic numbers on here. Listen, 100 is no different from 6. It's fine.
And then you're like, I would like to give it lifelink.
They print Pain for All.
Oh, right. Yeah, they did do that. I finally just grabbed I grabbed a copy of that card finally, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to just go freaking nuts with that thing. It is so cool.
So funny.
Why is Edge? Sorry, I'm still hung up on Edge of Eternity as like a set. Like this thing is so cool, and now we're getting to see like the whole, most of the encapsulation of that set in this one deck.
Yeah, this does really do the Sunstar Free Company and Monoists smashing all of those ideologies together into one deck. Which is why my board wipe in here is 0 point valid with the just like kill them all and lose X life, where X is the toughness of all the guys that I'm destroying. That's not formatted very well. Destroy all creatures with toughness X or less, you lose X life. If X is 6 or greater, return a creature card put into a graveyard this way onto the battlefield, to the battlefield under your control. I don't really have a whole lot of ways to take advantage of this the same way that we are like Wake the Dead and Living Lightning. They don't give you as good of
payoffs kind of thing,
like Archaeomancer technology in these colors. But the thing that I am doing is making sure that I am ahead of where my opponents were on board, and that's primarily what I need to be doing. I think with cards like Anti-Causal Vestige is pretty like a good target for that. Because this guy wants to be leaving the battlefield anyway. When he does, you draw a card, and then you can put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tap. You warp this guy out on 4, you cast it, then wipe the board, and then return it to the battlefield, do the thing again. That all seems pretty good. I've also got the blink technology from the Stoneblade, so we can blink it with that, continually causing problems. I also just needed like concrete win conditions, though. Okay, let's the fucking actual gameplay experience here.
Okay, hit us with that.
We, despite me including the Dawn-Sire and the Barbed Servitor, and I've got the Summon Primal Odin and the Summon Bahamut in here, both of which are like, players are going to die if these are allowed to do their things. None of this is the way that we win the game. We win the game via fucking grinding them out. Every game we've had on this so far has come down to like single digits, margin of inches gaming, and we're just out here in the trenches in my space armor. And because we're so like it's hashtag grind time, Stoneblade feels extremely good here. The blinking and repeatable value generation of like buying ETBs again is what you want to be doing if you're making if you're playing the long game. And doing the blink game plan satisfies the requirements of Void, so all of those cards are turned on, and Servandum himself, of course, is getting the +1/+1 counters and the life gain. And then he turns into a commander damage threat, so we can put some equipment on that guy, get in there via commander damage. He's got Menace, a great keyword, and Vigilance.
Not irrelevant. People don't like making decisions, is what I was saying.
Incredible keywords for combat. I will be sending him into battle every turn and facing 0 consequences for it.
It's like, and you're coming back to me? Well, I have to get close to you to kick your ass. I got Vigilance. Fuck.
So yeah, we're definitely taking advantage of that. I have Elegy Acolyte in here. That's one of my faves, that mono black Timna. Love to print out the bodies that I need to deal combat damage to draw cards. and being rewarded for going to combat with drawing cards is one of life's simple pleasures.
Need more copies of that card personally, but that's just a me thing.
Yeah, you got to get on that.
The tech is so good.
Shout out to Hilderblade. I did not give this card the appropriate amount of respect during preview season. People were like pointing at that, like, is this a Hero's Blade? And I was like, I don't know, end step, I don't know. Equip 4 and the equip, like, auto equip ability wants a whole lot of me. I don't know. Actually playing the card, my bad. I will take all of that back. I'm sorry I wasn't as enthusiastic back then. This card actually rips.
Wow, I am shocked and surprised that you came to learn this.
Sometimes it takes actually playing with a card to understand the level of power of it, but I'm just like, I'm sending guys into combat indiscriminately. When they die, we trigger Void so I can go to my end step, and somebody who I have standing up still who's prepared to block, you get the Hilder Blade, and now you're an actual threat to block. It's incredible.
And it's 1 mana, like, make it make sense. That equip 4 doesn't exist.
Yeah, it basically doesn't exist. You're going to be able to trigger Void if you're sending your guys into combat every turn the way that you should be. So yeah, do that. Speaking of things that make it easy to send my guys into combat indiscriminately, in the enchantments section, I have the enchantments from Eldraine, like Wilds of Eldraine standard that, like, man, when I cast these, I felt fucking unbeatable. The Virtue of Loyalty and Virtue of Persistence. The white mana one, Loyalty, at the beginning of your end step, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and untap those creatures. Exactly what I want to be doing with my go wide aggro game plan, and Vigilance, as we talked about, is basically what this is doing. It's extremely powerful. And then Virtue of Persistence, if you are just killing 1 creature per turn, I get to basically never be down that creature.
You're doing you're doing half of Shieldred. So, like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I also had a game the other weekend where somebody else ended up with a Carter Doomscourge in their graveyard. So I go to my upkeep, I grab that guy with Virtue of Persistence, I find a way to sacrifice him, and then the next turn I go to my upkeep, I grab that with Virtue of Persistence, and then
This is why we don't play
that,
good cards. This is why we don't play good cards in Commander.
Oh, I only got to do it twice. After that, my reign of terror was ended. This is where I had that Scavenger Grounds moment. Somebody just like, I'm trying to target Carter Doomscourge with that. Scavenger Grounds, eat it all.
Okay, well, this is why we can't let you have shit around here.
Yeah, I can't have shit around here. You know how it is. Oh, devastating. But that was a good moment. So continue doing that, gamers. Make the Graveyard Mage work for it. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep Carter Doomscourging on you.
And it's not even yours. Like, that's the other thing too. Like,
Yeah,
you'd expect an effect like that. Like, normally you'd be like, oh well, I just reanimate my own thing and continue on. But no, Virtue of Persistence does say grab it from someone's graveyard. It doesn't matter. It is 7 whole ass mana for that enchantment. So I guess it's not that surprising.
Yeah, you're allowed to cast an expensive card that wins you the game. I think that's fine. Speaking of expensive cards that win you the game, Extinguisher Battleship?
Yeah. That is literally... Okay. So I'm still mentally on the whole, like, spacecraft or vehicles, but then you meet... It's so easy to get those counters on them to make them creatures. And again, this is an 8 mana... board wipe and just blow something up, and then it becomes a flying trample 10/10 by just putting 5+ like counters on it. Like, what?
It feels
fucked up.
incredible to actually cast this guy. I think I had a 4/5 with flying. It might be like
just eked it out.
Token Doubler Angel or something like that. Yes, Exalted Sunborn. I had one of these on the battlefield, and I'm just like, all right, well, everything else is out of fucking control. We need to get to a place where we can manage. So I cast this 8 mana spaceship. I blow up the most annoying thing on the board, and then I wrath everything else. And I'm stuck standing here with my spaceship and my 4/5 Angel. I go to combat or whatever, or I can station it from there. I forget what exactly we did in the moment, but you have options. And I didn't really see that in Edge of Eternity's Limited, but being able to expand that to Commander and play this out here, I've really fallen in love with the mechanics and the way that these things work together.
Yeah, like this is very much with some like other cards getting into it, like this is very much like a block heavy representation of what you can get away with in
yeah, it's giving set constructed for sure. It's
pretty sweet. And then, you know, random summon Bahamut there hiding out in the
yeah, it's set constructed. Also, here's a dragon.
And here's a random god from the desert just showing up.
And summon Primal Odin, and those are both very good though.
Oh, they were. You're like, oh no, summon Primal Odin's gonna be going away. Yoink. Never mind.
Sometimes you just need a responsible source of removal that also cuts someone's head off, and Primal Odin can be that for you.
I haven't gotten to do the chapter 2 yet, but I really want to do it.
Oh, dude, I've gotten to cut 2
I know
people's
you
heads off
have,
with
and
that.
I'm not jealous or anything at all.
You got to get on that. Match my
I
level.
know.
Where's your Vorpal sword kills?
Snicker snack.
What the? This isn't a competition. Get it. You know what, Quinn? You know, how about this? How many Aloran Searing Light kills have you gotten?
Oh no, not the Uno reverse.
The Uno reverse that blows you up. Someone's like, I'm gonna win. I'm like, nah.
How about, I will give you that.
Oh well, we got our own respective bucket list commander moments here.
Yeah,
I've killed someone with the Great Aurora before, and I don't think I've ever felt more powerful.
That is
all right. Well, you know
impressive. I think about that card every once in a while. The Tristan deck that I think I'm probably not going to talk about because I don't super care about this guy, but I did question to myself, is this a Warp World deck? By which I mean, is this a Great Aurora deck? Because you do just elf spam and then green mana spam, and then you have a bunch of permanents on the board. And I'm like looking at my board state on turn 8 versus their board state on turn 8, and I'm like, I should be casting something like the Great Aurora and killing you here.
So it could be
lots
anything
mana,
else.
blow up board, and then
Yeah, does the work.
Yeah, it absolutely does the work. I have gotten away with that in the we posted about that on Bluesky, and I think you saw that post. But yeah, we've definitely done the thing before, and I would like to do it again.
feels good.
I mean, that's the only thing we want to be doing in Commander is the thing. Yeah, okay, you can win the game, and that's really cool. But did you do the really cool? Did you do the cool
Did you
thing?
get to style on them though?
Yeah, I had a player that had like an unreasonable number of creature tokens they couldn't sacrifice and clues they couldn't sacrifice. And they just milled out. They milled out when I cast the Great Aurora. It was like the best kill I think I've ever gotten in a Commander game.
That is beautiful. Oh, way to weaponize the all right, that's enough tchotchkes on the board. Great Aurora.
It felt really good. Usually I don't cast it if I'm not winning the number of permanents and cards in hand.
Yeah,
contest.
like you're going to be coming out majorly on top in comparison.
Yeah. But in that case, I did some counting and I was like, no, this is good here, and it was great. Yeah, I liked it.
We love to take a calculated risk.
I love how we're talking about like Orzhov space flicker.
We were talking about winning with style points. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, okay,
There's
fair
the thread
enough.
there. It connected. But anyway, yeah, that's enough of the Servanum posting. We have discussed all of the things that we like to discuss with that deck. I would like to put a Genji Glove in there now that I think about it, though, so we'll find room for that.
I'm pretty sure it'll
not
be.
at me. I am who I am.
I know, but I'm still looking at you sussly with your freaking Genji Glove fixation here. You're like, no, wait, I can't just play the Sarima in here. It's a thematic inclusion, okay? Okay, leave me alone. Like, yes, I know you can put the Sarima in there. And then
I don't even have the blonde from 7.
I know. I was like, wait a minute, where's Stoneforge Mystic? And then I looked over at Honored Knight Captain and I'm like, I guess you kind of have like your equipment tutor. So, you know, all right, I'll give you that one. You didn't pull the trigger on that one.
Right. Is it soapbox time, or do you have one more for me?
I got my Ishin Obosh update, but I guess maybe I'll kind of just briefly interject that with the new deck that I put together, the Ashling Rekindled and Rhymebound deck. I took apart a bunch of monocolored decks, but including a bunch of the Final Fantasy stuff that I just wasn't really playing. So I took apart my Clive Ifrit's Dominant and my Jill Shiva's Dominant deck, and then I looked at the pile, and then I looked over at Ashling and was like, hold on a minute here, maybe I'm cooking. And it was kind of maybe by my quote-unquote honorary, like, Final Fantasy 16 deck with also, like, thematic contrast here. So I've only got one game in, and I'm going to get more in, but the quick rundown is Clive and Jill are in the deck, but I also have, like, a bunch of, like, these fiery explosion cards, including Inferno Titan. And then I have stuff like Icy Blast and Frost Titan, and like a handful of other things as part of like that theme. And the hope is to use Ashling as like the jumpstart into like 4+ mana value stuff that could maybe snowball out of control. We'll let you know how that properly works out probably by next episode. I just don't really have a firm grasp on how the current build works and where it's going to be ending up, but
I think the list of cards looks pretty cool. I personally want more Sisei's rings, but I respect that you do not have the same obsession that I do, and the ways that you will achieve your goals of big mana will be different.
You're like, but what if I put out more Sisei's rings? And I'm like, what if you just like put out a creature?
I'm on like 10 copies of Sisei's ring, and the turn after that, I will be casting a 6-mana dragon.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, but like, I just rather figure I just get right into the action than wait around for it. But anyway, so that'll be for next week. But the one I obviously want to go back to is my Ishin and Obosh companion deck, where I have somehow managed to go a complete 180 on what my expectations for this deck was going to be. My initial thoughts after putting it together, I was like, wow, this is really slow and clunky, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out. And I actually thought I was going to take the deck apart. Nope, I have done a 180, and let me explain to you why. It turns out there are a lot of really cool cards in this deck. Once they get together and they mesh, it's like, okay. So I was playing against Light, Medusa, and Benoit a couple weeks ago or so. I was doing super duper so well with all the cool tricks and stuff, but unfortunately Light swooped in for the win while I was Icarus flying too close to the sun. Let me explain to you one of the base simple reasons why. Hammers of Moradin and Sparring Regimen were pulling way too much weight that particular game. I kind of started out with Hammers and Ishin, and then played the Sparring Regimen. So as I said for the last deck with Sephiroth, things that just like casually put +1 counters on stuff has been like a big highlight for me.
You're really big into that this season, yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what's been going on, but like I felt like something clicked in my head, and I got that stuff going on in like probably more than a few decks right now that I got assembled. So Sparring Regimen here says it's a 3-mana enchantment from Strixhaven. It's 1 and a white. When it enters, you learn. We are obviously not getting cards out of our lesson board. So we're going to be just discarding and drawing a card, which still feels pretty good in a deck that's like, you know, pretty hungry for any kind of card advantage. And then whenever you attack, put a +1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. Well, we're doubling that with Ishin. We get a Windcrag Siege that's obviously going to get out of control. But even just doing that once on like an attacking non-vigilant creature feels pretty good. Hammers of Moradin. This is also a very stupid card for a handful of reasons, but you get an Ishin out and it goes from kind of little silly little guys to just, wow, hold on, what are you doing here?
This guy is so tilting.
2 and a white for a 3/3 Dwarf Cleric with Myriad, so whenever it attacks, each opponent other than the defending player gets a token copy of that creature that's tapped and attacking them. Myriad triggers twice with Ishin, so those other 2 non Hammers of Moradin OG copy that's coming at them, well, they're getting 2 3/3s coming at them. And then, of course, whenever Hammers of Moradin attack for each opponent, tap up to 1 target creature that opponent controls. We get to do that twice. So we are guaranteeing in this board state that not only is Ishin and Hammers of Moradin and God knows whatever else I was putting out. I think a Drakuseth managed to hit the battle. No. Dragonhawk hit the battlefield. That's what happened. I just have this slowly accumulating board state, and I keep tapping stuff down on Lights and Benoit's and Medusa's side, and Medusa keeps asking, how come you're doing that twice? And then I point the finger at over at Ishin, and then I point over at Hammers and Moradin, and I say, that's why. She's like, damn, okay, fine. I also managed to do the thing that I slotted Shadowfix in to do this one this one specific thing, and I didn't really care that if it would trigger twice or not, because the thing was, I was like, how do I manage to put Obosh into my hand and not have to also pay 5 mana to put it out? And the answer was, pay 5 mana to put Shadowfax out, declare Shadowfax as an attacker, and then put Obosh out into the battlefield.
Unbelievable that Shadowfax is actually doing the thing.
So I also reached a point of a board state with a combination of Ishin, the Hammer, Shadowfax, and someone blew up the Obosh. They were like, yeah, no, we're not.
You've cooked enough.
You're not even going to be hitting me with this declare attackers. We're just immediately going to kill Obosh. And I go like, oh, I can't believe you've done this to me. So we also got that copy of Warrior's Resolve from the Final Fantasy 15 scene box that they put out. I'm pretty sure I also mixed up training with Mentor in that, like, one of those 2 combat steps that I got this thing with. But it's essentially like, you get your sparring regimen and you get your Shadowfax and all this other stuff, and you just start like untapping stuff, proccing +1 counters being put on stuff that probably should not be getting them, so you can just put out your Dragonhawks and your Dragosets and all that other stuff, just because your board state is just getting monumentally big. You're tapping down stuff so they're quote unquote evasive, and et cetera and et cetera. And it's just been so fun the last few games that I've been getting reps in with this thing. It's like, I put Bombat Courier in. I was like, man, connecting the dots is really cool. But Bombat Courier is here, and it can get big with +1 counters at some point. With like Arana, Heart of the Spider, and all that other stuff. Boomer Scrapper from the Fallout precons. You make junk tokens. You're also making treasure tokens with Captain Lannery Storm and J. Jonah Jameson and Locke and Kellogg Dangerous Mind. So this Boomer Scrapper can get like ridiculously big really quickly. So yeah, it's just, I've now reached this weird new niche with this deck. Ishin continues to be a silly, stupid card, and
he also sees your myriad tokens leaving.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, there's I'm cooking here. I know some people have some like mixed opinions about companions, and you can't play all of them in Commander, but I really would encourage people to give them a shot, and also not just like try to fall in like the normal like pitfalls, like doing like Garuda clones. Like, don't do that. Do something else that's like really cool. Do, you know, Torwaki and Obosh 1-drops, or Ishin +1 counter bullshit, and you too can make your friends be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, Brad has a Karuga deck that's pretty fun. Everything has to be at least 3 mana, and then which you can get around with
pretty
like
easily. Like, it's getting easier
like
now.
Yeah, you can get around. Like, you can still play things early with that deck, which is cool. And I saw Niall has a list for Cat Dog Bird, which is like my favorite thing ever. It's Yoshimaru, the bird that has partner. It's a black one.
Francisco.
I forget what it is, but and Luris. And that list is just really fun. And then I've seen I had an Obosh deck a little while ago. It was Obosh Partners. It was Crom and Vile Smasher.
Oh,
Ooh.
sick. Yeah.
So we had the trifecta. We had 3 things in the functional command zone, and I liked that. And then I played against someone else that had the deck, and I have a complex, and so I took it apart. But it was I do,
like,
but it was fun.
God, I'm like blanking on like the term already, but it's
Just like I am no longer the coolest person on the block. My hipster
Yeah,
status
I'm,
is
my hipster
Jeopardy.
status, my Frick, what's Medusa's term that I'm suddenly forgetting? The bespoke.
Bespoke.
The bespoke experience is taken away from me. I no longer have agency. I got to take this whole thing apart.
Yeah, it really is a problem. I am like that. That's part of the reason why I don't build decks as often as what I would probably otherwise build. Is I like have to let the field kind of level out a little bit when new cards come out, because I don't want to show up to a game store and have somebody be like, "Oh, I played against that exact deck before."
I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing right now. Like, I am someone who's kind of like, who wants to get some kind of hipster cred. It will not get me into Commander Valhalla, but I gotta at least like do some of it. Hence, you know, the Bludger guy.
Yeah.
So there's that angle. The other thing too is that, like, as much as obviously some other deck building strategies and like cards like annoy me, those types of cards and strategies are someone's favorite or several people's favorite. And so like people got to be able to play it too. And like, I'm very much a turn big creatures sideways thing. And it just so happens that I'm pretty sure if you looked at like an Ishin Obosh list, which I'm pretty sure like, hey, you know, EDH Rec is a resource. I don't like using it all the time, but if we take a look, I'm pretty sure the list of decks is, there are literally 4 decks listed via EDH Rec. This is like the quote unquote, as niche as you can get, and still doesn't change the fact that, like, yeah, I don't want to put Enemy Bakal, Thousandth Moon in here, or Karlach Fury of Avernus, but I do have Karazakar, and I do have Aurelia the Law Above, and I do have Hammers, and Alessio Who Smiles at Fate, so, like, really kind of, like, take your pick.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one doing it, but I'm, like, one of 4 people, doing it.
Yeah, no, I do hope that they give us more companions, because I think companions give us some really fun, really fun build restrictions, and yeah, I do think more people should build with them. I don't have a companion deck anymore. Brad has a Zerda deck, which I really like. It's Garth One Eye with Zerda in the companion zone.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are very few ways to rein Garth in, and I feel like Zerda does it, but also can enable some really fun things. But then also you're not just like fishing for Deadeye Navigator, because turns out even though Deadeye Navigator gives you an activated ability, does not actually have one. And so there are some things that you like that seem like obvious inclusions for that deck that you can't put in there. And so that's one of my favorite decks of his for that reason, is because of that like fun little loophole. But
it's a lot more measured because of that restriction rather than just
right, exactly. Now it can still do ridiculous things, because Zerda is a ridiculously good card, and things that reduce the cost of activated abilities are insane, especially when the activated abilities are the ones that are on Garth. But but I think it's pretty fun. So
not the soapbox we're aiming for, but definitely something to consider. So that being said, Steph, I don't know if you have any other decks or something you want to be bringing up before we give you the floor.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have. I mean, I would need edit access in order to. No, I'm just kidding. I don't need edit access. I can share in chat. But I really, if I had built something reasonably recently, I would probably throw it at you. But
nothing's really like got your attention.
Nothing. I mean, so I'll share this list with y'all in chat here, because I was talking about the Commander earlier, and I've been playing this and having fun with it lately. It's just a strange execution of Boros that I am a big fan of. It's a Stuffy Doll shenanigans deck, and I want to have Stuffy Doll deal damage to Stuffy Doll, create my own Stuffy Doll, redirect damage to Stuffy Doll, and murderize my opponents with it. And so that's it's all about redirecting damage or doing weird things with combat. My favorite card in the whole deck that I don't think I have seen anybody else run ever in a Commander game is Trove of Temptation. There are
There
are a lot of cards in Magic the Gathering that force you to attack. There are very few cards in Magic the Gathering that force you to specifically attack somebody.
Oh,
so the deck is all about
with your Verilax the Haven skin and Chosen by Valgavoth.
Yeah, there we go. I have the fake versions of the cards in here, and then I bought the real versions of them, and they're in the deck box. But I have the universes within. I have those printed just because I like looking at them more than I like looking at Venom and with great
names
power.
That I know. I don't know the actual cards. I only interact with those ones on MTGO, and they just, that's where we've got the Omen Paths cards. So those are the ones that I know. But I did get to put together that combo in Limited one time, so that felt very good for me. And I do love to see that you've included it in this deck.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. There's the 1/2 punch in this deck is oh gosh, where is it? It's not Guilty Conscience. That's what we're looking for. We want to put a Guilty Conscience on a stuffy doll or a Brash Taunter or something that closely approximates that. And that's living the dream. That's the thing that I actively avoid searching for. It sure does. It's really good. So Guilty Conscience says whenever enchanted creature deals damage, it deals that much damage to enchanted creature. And so if you can start the loop,
then it's
so you
GG.
just have stuffy doll deal the damage to itself or whatever, and then pew pew pew.
Yeah, but stuffy doll is specifically just one person, right? So it kind of needs to be a Brash Taunter, or it needs to be like a build your own stuffy doll,
like an indestructible Sprite Mare or whatever.
Exactly. Yes, we have a bunch of stuff that gives our stuff indestructible in here, and we've got a bunch of things that can become stuffy dolls if you've given them indestructible. And so, I'm
just looking over this list, and I gotta say that I love seeing Boros Battle Shaper on a list like this. Like this card has always been on my brain ever since Dragon's Maze came out, and I'd put it in a few decks, and people are like, Cole, what the fuck, stop. And I'm like, no, this has to attack, and that has to block, and that can, and that, and like, whatever way they dictated it, people are like, man, this fucking sucks. I can't believe this is happening. This is just some random 7-drop dude from like a shitty set. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about that. Fucking deal with it. But that being said, because I'm just curious, like, could Jadoon Enforcers from Doctor Who make the cut in this deck?
How do you spell that?
What are those?
So that's Judoon for Jadoon.
I only know about them for being big and rhino.
And big and rhino. Yeah.
So this is actually actively the opposite of what I want. I want
you
people
want
to
as
attack
many
me in this
people
deck.
attack you. Okay.
I want people to attack me. I want my deck to be full of rattlesnakes. And then I want people to attack into them.
And Brandon wanted to do a 5-color version of this. Looks what he needs to do to get this level of power.
So I'm scrolling through your utility section and seeing the stuff that makes sense. So like Basilisk Collar, of course. Yeah, you want to find your stuff with your Enlightened Tutor and your Gamble. Yeah, all that makes sense.
I know what you're going to ask about.
Okay. Emrakul, the Promised End?
Yes.
Mineslaver? Explain thyself.
So you remember how I said there are a lot of things in Magic the Gathering that force you to attack, but not a lot of things that force you to attack somebody specifically? Yeah, if you take control of someone's turn, turns out you can make them attack whoever you want them to attack. So that's what they're there for.
Well,
5D chess over here.
Yep, we're not comboing with them, but we are for sure going to make the person attack into my board as disadvantageously as possible. I feel like people use those effects and they don't always have a great way to capitalize on them, right?
Yeah,
and so I feel like this deck has a really good way to capitalize on it all of the time. And so, so that's why they're there.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I gotta get behind that. Like, what can we do?
This is a pretty cool deck. I hope people, as a reminder to the listeners, that like I put these deck lists as links in the episodes, so like please go check this stuff out because this deck is just hilarious. I like this. I appreciate this.
Out.
The Encore cycle is my favorite. Not a lot of players know about those, and I think that they're really neat.
I only know about those because of Monk Gyatso and him kind of ruining those.
Yeah.
Because they have the 0 damage activated abilities that you can use to target other creatures and airbend them out of the way with Monk Gyatso's abilities.
I've I can't remember. Okay, I think Brandon, our producer over on MTG Lexicon, has been like an example of this because of his new recent redirect.deck concept that he's been putting together. But I feel like I actually have seen some encores in a deck recently, and I just can't remember off the top of my head who it was or who I played against.
It's probably Vangabus on his Linsuvi Rebels deck.
No, it actually wasn't. I think it was someone... Benoit and I get to go out every once in a while, but there's this group that goes out drinking downtown in Vancouver that go to a bar and hang out and play Magic on Monday nights, which is what would be happening right now, but multiple reasons caused me from not going down there. But I'm pretty sure one of them was playing like a red-white, like, or maybe it was white-black. I'm not sure, but they were playing some kind of encore to like redirect damage. And I was like, okay, you're going to see how this goes. And then I'm pretty sure we just like exploded. Like it was just whatever was going on was leading to that end result of what you're aiming for here. Spooky stuff. Don't get caught slipping.
Yeah, for real. This is an extremely cool deck.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing that stuff. That's really cool. I keep looking at cards like the Trove of Temptation and be like, I want to do something with this. I just know that it could, in my case, with my luck, it'll just blow up in my face in a way that I don't want it to happen.
It's high risk, high reward, but nothing has made me more happy recently than my opponents complaining that they have to attack me. It really is wonderful.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
I really want to do freaking Form of the Dragon.
Oh, dude, you have to do it. Become a Dracolich.
I know. I just need to think of a way to do it in a way that like is exciting, and I just haven't gotten to that point yet. But I did get the End Stone. We could still...
Okay, that's another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I still need to think deeply on that. Okay, let's shift gears into your soapbox, Steph, because I'm curious about I know what your soapbox is. You've talked about it many times, but perhaps to our listeners who maybe don't know you or haven't listened or watched you, see what you have to think about, what you got to talk to us about.
Yeah, so I will first say Magic the Gathering is an expensive hobby, right? It's a very expensive hobby. Buying sealed product, buying really anything Magic is expensive. It's more expensive now than it ever has been. And you know what? I think people are silly if they do not extract as much value out of that experience as possible. And so one of the ways that Brad and I choose to do that I think other people should do too, is we play games with our booster packs. We do not open booster packs or draftable booster packs unless we play games with them. And now that doesn't mean you need to sit down with a whole pod of 8 people. That doesn't mean you need to like organize a whole game night with your friends. It means you sit down with one buddy and you play some Pai Gow, you do a Winchester draft, you do Pack Wars, you do something. But you play some games with the cards that you open, because otherwise you're leaving fun on the table. And I think it's silly if people do that. I think people should play games with the packs that they open.
I think you're right. I have found a lot of joy in playing limited formats after watching you all stream them and getting to enjoy that getting to enjoy that like part of Magic has been enriching for me as a gamer.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, I think it also is helpful from an impulse control perspective, because I feel like us as gamers, when we get these booster packs, we want to crack into them immediately. We want to like get that high from opening that rare or whatnot. But it really, at least it's trained my brain to think about like the value of a booster pack differently than just what is the rare that I can open in this, right? It's like, okay, I can have fun with this. And so, yeah.
I think one of the very foundational things that this is me coming as a Commander player. This is me coming as a Commander player, as someone who's been playing nearly exclusively for the last 2011, so 15 years, 16, 15, like pretty much approximately 15 years, right? Like factoring how soon I was able to get into it, playing Standard back in the day, going from very much a buy packs mentality when I first got into it versus now as someone who's like had the professor in his skull being like, buy singles. Like that's been like the whole mentality of like, if I'm going to be engaging in the game where if I only consume sealed product as someone who doesn't play draft or sealed or anything, then like I'm losing money on doing that because I'm not getting that gaming experience out of it. And part of that too is like, if all of my friends are playing Commander and part of that is like the environment that I've either cultivated or I'm seeking, then like obviously going out to my friends and being like, hey, do you want to play sealed? Not a lot of people are immediately going to jump on that because of we want to play Commander, the price point, and etc. And I'm thinking about the offer from my friend recently, from my friend Chris, where he's like, hey, like me and my cousins do draft like pretty often. We're thinking about drafting Lorwyn in the near future. You want to get in on that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen. They thought it was going to happen on Friday. Not everyone said yes. And I think like even after they broke down a box and everything, I think they're like coming out $20 out of pocket or something to like give to whoever does like the main purchase, and $20 to hang out with spending $20 to hang out with a friend that I know and who invited me and a bunch of strangers that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if I know who Chris is, I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to get in on that like environment and get along with people. And I'm someone who gets along with people pretty easily. Outside of me probably getting my freaking shorts blown off my body from not being a good limited player, I'm pretty sure I'll have a good time and get mileage out of it in a way that I never anticipated.
Yeah, and limited, now, granted, this was probably less true with like micro formats like PyGao or Pack Wars or whatnot, but limited in general is something that you can study and get better at. And I think that while some of that's like kind of true for Commander is just like such a like the card pool is just so vast. You don't you can't expect to encounter things. You can't like kind of try to outmaneuver your opponent nearly as well as you can in a format that has a set pool of cards and like rarities for those cards and like things that you can expect at certain mana values and whatnot, or like being able to look at a spell that says this deals 4 damage to a target creature at instant speed. You can know how many creatures that can kill in the set. You know what I mean? You can look at the set and be like, oh, this will kill most of the things that I need to care about, or this won't kill any of the things that I need to care about, and so maybe I'll pass on this. And so like you can study and you can dig into it a little bit and you can get better at it, and that's part of what I like about it, because I think Magic. It scratches two very different parts of my brain, right? And so Commander is like I love the beer and pretzels board game feel. I love board games. I love, not having to think super hard about things. But I view 1v1 Magic, and this is limited included, as a little bit more of a chess game. And I like, while some people categorize chess as a board game, it's really not. It's a very different thing, because you're really just trying to out-strategize, predict. You're trying to outmaneuver in ways that like a normal multiplayer board game doesn't always allow you to do, just because there's so many components, right? And there's so many moving parts. But with, in a 1v1 environment, especially 1v1 limited environment, those moving parts, get fewer and fewer and fewer. And so you can start doing things like, okay, my opponent has 4 mana open. I know what colors they're playing. I can expect one or more of these things here. How can I play around that? And I think that's neat. But yeah, you can study it. You can get better at it. You're not just doomed to be bad at it forever. You can be bad at it forever if you want, but you don't have to be.
Yeah,
this is true. I have gotten better at limited over time.
I think the one thing is that very often I found that I'm like, what's the cost to weight ratio? Like, what am I getting out of it, right? And when I think about positive draft experiences I've had, which are not many. But the last one that I had a really like a lot of fun with was Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. It was just the four of us. We all got a kit out. My buddy Joel supplied everyone with the sleeves that we'd be using, and then we could later use for whatever commander deck we wanted. And then we just, you know, draft it in a way that, like, obviously as commanders, so I was like going to be a little bit more biased than normal. But it was still just like you still have to make limited considerations because, like, when you draft 2 or 3 of the same card because no one else is drafting red blue for whatever reason, and you draft 2 Niras and whatever, like adventure cards or whatever, you're like, man, this is really interesting. I wonder what everyone else is doing and like gonna come out with. But I'm also thinking of like trying to think of another other draft that like I really enjoyed, and I can't really think of it. I think my main issue that I've had over the last few years, and I've gone, there are people that will definitely, I could probably sit down and draft with, but I would have to like, this would be like a huge planning stage thing of like checking in with people to see like, hey, who's got the free time, who wants to come in, like whether or not you pay into it or not, that's a whole other thing. But other drafts experiences have usually like, I go to an LGS where people have been doing it like every week as often as they can because it's one of the ways that they love playing the game. I know this guy at a store that I don't go to, and I happened to meet last year. We were playing Dragonstorm at the pre-release, and this guy, I knew him and his brother had been playing Limited since I was like probably before I started playing Magic. Like I was like 15 or 16 or 17 when I first met these guys. And I played with them, and I'm like, holy shit, like, they will 2-0 me easily. Like, I'm so severely out of my depth. It was just one way to get, like, completely taken out of the experience. And now, like, thinking of like, doing it, I'm like, I think I would have to start at the invitation level, hanging out with my buddy and his cousins level of, like, they have some experience, but I'm in more of a controlled environment compared to going to like LGS where the real quote unquote pros are going to be and get completely like blown out of the water. And I guess also like kind of weirdly, like outside of like doing this with Steel product, I'm like, it makes me more interested in trying to get into cubes too, because of that like same experience of this is whoever's cube it is, like it is a set environment. There are some things that you can predict and anticipate, and archetypes that you can probably be familiar with, while also like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like compared to playing Commander where there's a lot of variance, like not just people, not just both the multiplayer aspect and the card pool. It's just a completely different ball game than getting in that one-on-one against someone that's like, yeah, I don't know, I felt like drafting. I'm just trying to think of like I drafted Mardu in like Tarkir Dragonstorm, and you're like, cool, I know kind of what those cards look like. Versus the 5-color dragon ramp deck that I ended up playing against at the pre-release, and it's just being like, what do you mean you have 5 Sagu wildlings? They're like, yeah, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go
Sometimes
scoop
it'd be
up.
like that.
I'm just gonna go scoop myself up, and you get the 2-0, and we'll move on. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that inhibit people from playing, like from drafting with their friends, is thinking that you need to have the full pod of 8 people, and you can do drafts. Like there are variant drafts that you can do that are really fun and really strategically fulfilling, that you can do with just 2 people, or you can do with 4 people. And so if you look up Winston draft or Winchester draft, those are both very, very, very good. And you can do both of those with either 2 or 4 players, and you only need 3 packs a person. And so it kind of gets you in the mindset of evaluating cards in a limited setting, but you also don't need a whole box. You don't need 8 people. You don't need to coordinate with, 10 million people to sit down and buy into something.
Yeah.
With that, do you have any particularly hype experiences playing Limited that you want to share with the gamers? Like, for me, one moment that I always go back to is thinking about how I was able to put together this moment in Final Fantasy Limited with Clive, Ifrit's Dominant, and the blue mana Go-Go, who has that like activated ability that you can tap to copy other abilities. And I'm just like, had the perfect blue-red splashing black wizard stack, and I've got Clive on the like Saga side adding mana, and I'm activating Go-Go to copy that trigger. And I'm just like adding boatloads of mana to my mana pool, and I've got a bunch of cards in hand. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want because I have just ultimate power. Tell me about an experience like that you've been in with Limited, something that just like, this rules.
Yeah,
that isn't you being blown out by Brad.
That isn't me. Yeah, I fortunately that doesn't happen very often anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But I think last year at Commander Sealed. So while this is not a normal limited format, Commander Sealed, I think everybody gets 14 packs if I remember correctly, and you play in a build pod, right? So or you build your deck in a pod of 4 players, and so we opened like it was a really chaotic pool of booster packs. We had some really neat packs in there. And so what you do is you open your 14 packs and you build a deck, but you can trade cards with people that are in your pod. And I got in and I was building something. I was like, the Izzet seems kind of fun here. And you kind of have to look at the rest of the table and be like, okay, is everybody else playing Izzet? Then I'm probably not going to get some great cards. You kind of have to like do a little bit of negotiating about that with the people that you're building with. But then we got like 20 minutes into building and nobody was playing white.
Oh.
And so I was like, you know what, y'all? Give me literally all of your white cards. And so I had of the 14 packs times 4 people, so like 56 booster packs. I had all of the cards that had white in them from all of those booster packs. And so I built a deck that was pretty fun. And so I liked having such an enormous card pool of things to pick from, and I had all kinds of really disgusting rares that nobody wanted to play, and some really good lands that nobody wanted to play, and so. But I also had like a lot less time to build my deck than other people. But yeah, I think that was probably I felt, huh?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's the trade-off.
Yeah. But it was great. I had access to some really powerful things that I probably shouldn't have had access to in that setting, and it was great. I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, of 56 booster packs, every single card that had white in it was in my pool. So
that is bananas. You're over here just like, here's my Elish Norn, my Avacyn, my Oger Talk. Yep. Wild.
It is. That has always been the one thing that like I've never developed the experience to like really know how to do it. But I remember when I was first learning the concept of draft, and like, first of all, when I started playing, I was like 16 or 17. I didn't have a dime to my name. And like, even when I got a job, I was like kind of being like pretty surprisingly frugal with like what I was getting. It was like, okay, so when you draft cards, you give the cards to other people and they keep those cards. And I was like, what if I open like something really cool or whatever, right? But then the other part that like from a point of like trying to get other people to signaling to other people what you are drafting and what you are like not what you are drafting and what you're not drafting. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean that I try to tell someone else that they need to draft like white or blue or green? Like, I don't get, like, I never really got like that part. Like, you read a bunch of all these like articles back from like the early like 2010s that were explaining that, and it was just so alien to me as like a teenager. And I'm like, I don't get it. What does this mean? Like, it is very skill based, and you have to do your research, and then you have to be impulsive, and then you have to do the thing where Quinn was drafting vehicles in Aether Drift and realized that was a mistake. So then Faye started drafting just bomb creatures instead and having a much better time. I
don't know if that was like either just specifically, but there are sets where I go in with a plan and I just absolutely face plant consistently, and then I'm like, all right, sounds good. I'll just take whatever rares you hand me.
Yeah, like when people were like, oh, well, you could just like hate draft and like either take something out of the pool or like oh, hey, like that Tarmogoyf back during like that modern pro tour, like however long ago, and you're just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna grab the foil Tarmogoyf because this pays for like a bunch of stuff that I'm doing this weekend and all that other stuff, and it's just yeah, it's very, when you finally get to like the nitty gritty of what playing sealed, or sorry, limited, like looks like, and like what the mentality that you have to change if you're coming at it from like a completely different angle. Like Commander players, you do your homework, go to class, figure it out. Just like you gotta really assess things way differently. And in a way
the
that
number of times I have to like remind myself verbally to not build a commander deck whenever I am playing sealed is
no,
outstanding.
you cannot put. There's nothing going in the command zone. Stop that.
Yeah. It's like you find this cool 3-color rare and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna build a deck about that. No, I'm not. This is a 2-color draft format. If I can splash for it later, I will. But otherwise, we are going to build responsibly, and I have to audibly like say that to myself.
You're going to play 4 or 5 color bangers, and you're going to enjoy it.
Unless it's Tarkir Dragonstorm, no, I am not. Tarkir Dragonstorm, you can play whatever you want. You can play soup.
Fixing is impeccable, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think I said I played. I'm pretty sure I played, quote unquote, Mardu during Dragonstorm, but I think maybe I somehow managed to splash blue. Couldn't tell you how I did it. But yeah, when you do get those 3-color sets, you can get pretty goofy with it. Much to think about. Anything else to add to the soapbox here, Steph?
Yeah, just play with your booster packs, people. Do it.
Hey, there you go. I gotta go immediately send that as a message to my buddy at work because he keeps telling me he buys packs, and I'm like, stop. cease and desist. You must enjoy them. And he said he's just a cardboard gremlin.
Just tell him to bring him to lunch, and you two can do a quick. You can do some pack wars or pie gout or something. You can have fun, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, I should just save these and hang out when I hang out with Cole. It'll be great. Life changing.
Open packs together, get that 1v1 game in, and then send homie on his way with his cards. You can have basically the same experience, except you also get to play a game with the cards.
True. All right. Well, I'll have to hit him up on that. Okay. I don't know how to explain to people how this episode ended up shorter than the last one where there were only 2 of us yapping Quinn, but
it's because we put too many things on the sheet. That's how easy.
Yeah. Vibes-based storytelling time. Steph, I think this is where we're going to be wrapping it up.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Glad we managed to make this work. And I hope you feel as if you... One of the things, Steph, that always cracks me up, and something that I can very resonate with, is when you've talked about how... you quote unquote talk too much, or you've explained how like you have pretty mixed feelings about it, and I'm like, no, please, I don't think you understand. I want you to talk. Please come onto my podcast and talk for an extended period of time. And I'm glad, and this is the environment to do it, because like when I'm like, no, I want us to talk for like 4+ hours or like whatever. Yeah, that's crazy talk. That's physically insane. If we keep going, I'm probably going to die of starvation. But this is the environment. You should be encouraged to talk like this, because when you have like as resourceful and knowledgeable a person as you are, you should have the floor and room to do that. So I'm glad that you were able to come on.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This is a good time.
Where can people find you?
Plugs and all that.
Yeah, I am on the internet in entirely too many places. You can find me personally, SteelCitySteph, at most places. And the places where you can't find that, you'll be able to find me and Brad as a streaming unit under Steel City MTG. That's our handle on Twitch. We're also on there on like Instagram and the other social media websites that I don't frequent a ton, but we have like one joint account on there. So yeah, SteelCitySteph or Steel City MTG, really all over the internet is where you can find me.
All right, awesome. Quinn, where can we be found?
We're on the internet at HBVC-MTG, where separately Cole's at the Blizzard Guy, I'm at Grotic Energy. Find the podcast wherever podcasts are sold, and while you're there, leave the comments in the engagement section and hit the thumbs up and the likes and all that. You know what the fucking deal is. And
Press the
subscribe
buttons.
if you're not.
Yeah, spread the good word, because if we're going to be yapping in your ear for like 2.5 to 3, 4 hours at a time, I'm sure other people would appreciate it. And yeah, you know, we play Magic on weekends on MTG Lexicon. We got D&D coming up and all that other stuff, so please go check that out too. And decks for links for the decks that we talked about this episode are also down below. So go click on those and go check out Steph's very pretty Bassandra deck. And that's it.
Hell yeah.
See you in the next
This is
episode.
Rest Gamers. Later,
Okay,
guys.
bye.